Okay, so yesterday I take my nephew to go get his physical, and my sister made sure my name was all on all the paperwork to make sure that I was authorized to bring him, as she is the primary parent. Blah blah blah. So I get there, I'm filling out all his paperwork. We get to the back, we get to talking. The doctor gets to asking questions. I found out some new information.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys the story on how I got into a fight on my birthday. On my birthday, guys, I got into a fight. Get your popcorn, get your snack, get your candy, get your tea, get your wine, and let's talk because I have a story to tell y'all. So let's just backtrack. Around my birthday, me, my sister, and my best friend had stayed in New York for like 2
I got
days.
caught in the staircase eating eggplant. I had just started the school. And I was like, find me the most populous man in this school right now, because I'm gonna date him. Oh my god, I was such a... I went to a theater art school, so we didn't have many selections. They told me that actor, let's call him actor because he was a whole actor. Actor was supposedly the most popular guy.
My friend wanted to fight me because I wouldn't bump coochies with her. Okay, let's do a quick story time while I do my homework because it helps me concentrate. Okay, I used to have this friend, let's name her Anna. And, Anna just went through a breakup. It was pretty bad, so
These are real stories from real people, and they get wild. Before we start, hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel more than you know. All right, let's get into it.
Story time about how me and my boyfriend met. I put on bracelets to make this more of a vibe. It's also like kind of messy as heck. And he looks at me and kisses me, and I'm like, and everyone keeps asking. I got like so many people on live like, give us a story time, so here it is. Okay, so me and him met my sophomore year of high school. I'm now in college on my second year. Okay, I'm 20, but we met when I was in high school, and my ex-boyfriend at the time is actually the one that introduced me to him. Like, I remember exactly where it was, where we were when I met him. We were in the hallway, and I was with my boyfriend at the time. We're gonna call my old boyfriend Max, and then we're gonna call my boyfriend now Cody, because that's my boyfriend now. Okay, so Max was like, hey, this is Cody. We meet in the hallway. He had those red Thunder 4s on, I remember. I mean, not red, yellow Thunder 4s. And I was like, okay. Like, he has style. Like, he low-key has so many shoes. Like, and I was like, that was, like, my first impression of him. But he seemed, like, kind of cocky when I first met him. But, like, I didn't think anything crazy of it. I just thought, like, he was another white boy. And, like, I was not into white boys at the time. Yeah, I know. I low-key switched sides, so... I forgot to say, but I low-key love some white chocolate with some pretty eyes and dark hair, and that's what he has, so call me crazy. But I just thought he was like a little spicy white boy, whatever. He was chill. And then let's fast forward to the next, like a few months. I noticed that, like, oh my gosh, there's Cody. He's in our lunchroom, and like we have like this thing called privilege at the high school that I went to, and we could be in there for like an hour on our privilege. And I started noticing that Cody was in there. And I would be like, oh my gosh. And he would low-key save me from these boys because there's these boys that would always try to hit on me in there. And I was a sophomore and they were like seniors. And he would always like try to like take me away from them because he knew that I had a boyfriend. And he was like, no, you're not about to mess with one of his friends' girls. So he got me like that. And that was like the other thing I noticed about him, that he was very protective and like very sweet. And I was like, okay, but it wasn't in like a weird flirty way because I would not cheat, okay, y'all. And he was not about to cheat on his girlfriend. Like he was literally so down bad. Like it was bad. Okay, let's fast forward the next year. So the next year, me and Max were dating for about a year and a half, or a little bit less than that, okay? And he goes on a cruise and cheats on me, right? Whatever. That's what people do on cruises. Shoot, like whatever. Like it wasn't nothing crazy. He told me he cheated and I said, okay, bye, because you cheat on me once, that's it. Like, I'm not giving second chances ever for someone that cheated on me. So I break up with him. And I remember calling Cody and being like, oh my god, like, he cheated on me, what do I do? Like, I was just crushed at the time because like I had been with him for so long and I thought he would never do something like that, okay? And then Cody's like, oh my gosh, like, calm down, I'm on the highway, wait, like, talk slower. And then I tell him what happens and he's like, bro, I thought y'all were so strong. And by the way, Cody also told me that he would always be low-key jealous of me and Max, because I would always walk with Max to like their training center. I was in track and Max was in football, so was Cody, also was in football, but I would walk him there so he wouldn't have to walk alone. And Cody said that he was jealous of that because his girlfriend wouldn't do that. Okay, and it becomes like a normal thing. He becomes like one of my good friends, and I swear on like everything I love, I never liked him. I never formed any type of attachment while I was with Max. Like, it was not like that at all. It was just like, you're a good friend of mine and you're also a good friend of my boyfriend at the time, which I thought was cool as heck. Okay, and we were like, all three of us would hang out. Like, we would go to Starbucks, we went to Cody's house. Like, it was just nothing weird. Okay, before anyone tries to say you were cheating, no, I was not. So I asked him for his phone number and I'm like, hey, can I get your phone number, just so like when you're not here I know, because there'd be some days I'd be looking for him and he wasn't in there and I couldn't find him because I didn't have his number. So I'm like, give me your number. He's like, okay, whatever. So then we start texting when he's not there. I'm like, hey, where you at? And he would explain, blah blah blah. So then I go to Hawaii. Okay, fast forward the summer, I go to Hawaii because it's my grandparents' 50th anniversary and they fly our whole family out to Hawaii. The whole time I'm in Hawaii, he's texting me, and there's like a time zone, I forget what it is. Okay, what is the time zone difference from Hawaii to Texas? Okay, there's a 5-hour time difference between Hawaii and Texas. This man was texting me all day, every day, while he had a girlfriend. And I'm not saying he was cheating, but he was texting me a lot. And he'd be like, are you having fun? Like, what are you doing? Like, send pictures, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, And I remember telling Max, like, yo, your boy is getting a little too comfortable. Because I thought it was weird. But, like, me knowing how Cody is now, being with him for 3 freaking years, that's just how he is. He's very friendly, very sweet, very just, like, compassionate, and he's just like that. Genuinely, he's a good person. And he would never cheat. He's the most loyal person I've ever met in my entire freaking life. So fast forward to when we become best friends. That was after I found out that I got cheated on. I start hanging out with Cody every day. We go everywhere together. We go to get food together. We study together. We do our homework together. Everything, bro. Okay? Everything. So that next year in school, we ended up having a class together. I'm like, oh my gosh. And it's Cody. And there's 2 girls in front of us. They're like, why do y'all always flirt? And I was like, no. And he was like, no, bro, I have a girlfriend. Like, don't even play like that. Like, he got mad as hell and was like, don't play like that. I have a girlfriend and I don't cheat. And I was like, yeah, me too. And I don't want this white boy. I like me some chocolates. But looking back, I feel like we were subconsciously flirting, because not in a weird way, but you know, like when you get along with someone so well that it comes off like you're flirting, but really you just get each other. It was like that. Okay, so fast forward to when I get cheated on. The timeline is kind of a little bit out of order, but anyways, when I get cheated on, we're still in that class together, right? That same year, it was my junior year when he cheated on me, and that's when me and Cody started hanging out every day. We would go everywhere together, we would get food together, and this is when we were friends, and I didn't have a boyfriend at the time, okay? I was single, like, single Pringle, and he was genuinely my best friend. Like, I did not see a love interest in this man, and he had a girlfriend, so even if I did, it's not like I could get with him because he was with his girl. But that changes because his girl ends up doing crazy stuff, which I was actually really cool with his girlfriend, but she ended up doing all this crazy stuff, and we don't talk about that. And then one day we go to Six Flags and he gets out of his relationship. He's been out for like a month out of his relationship. I've been out of mine for like 3 months. And he's like, hey, you want to go to Six Flags? And I'm like, yeah, sure. Then he buys me a hoodie and we get matching hoodies. And I'm like, oh my God, we're so cute. And then he looks at me and kisses me. And I'm like, did you just... And then low-key, I was like kind of awkward because I was like, no way you just freaking put your lips on mine. Then we get in his car after, and like he starts putting his hand on my leg, and I'm like, I literally, like, he'll be like this. Let me give it an example. Pretend this is his hand. It'd be like this. And he'd be like, and I'd be like, no. And like, he knows how I am, and he knows I'm spicy, and he knows how to handle my attitude, and he just keeps like putting his hand back on me, and I'm like, and that's not consent. I never like said stop. I was just like, no, boy, you know, like messing around with him. And then he keeps being like, bro, I want to date you. I like you. And I'm like, no. I just feel like, because I knew that if we dated and it did not work, everything that we built in that past 2 years is ruined, bro. Ruined. Ugh. And I just was not about to have that happen because I wanted him in my life. Like, I literally cannot imagine my life without that man. Like, seriously. So yeah. Then, fast forward like 3 months, he keeps being like, when are you going to be ready? Like, literally pressuring me to date him. And I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I just gotten out of a relationship 3 months ago. My relationship was a year, and your relationship was almost, it was like 2.5 years. I'm like, how did you get over girl in 1 freaking month? Because literally 1 month and he was over her. And I'm like, the freak? It genuinely scares me. I'm like, and I asked him and he's like, cause she did me wrong. Like, if somebody does me wrong, I can easily like cut off any feelings. And I'm like, ooh. Anyways, fast forward, then we start dating and I give him a chance. And then I break up with him like 2 months later. And I'm like, no, I rushed into this. And he's like, okay, take your time. And then finally we get back together. And we've been dating for 3 years. 3 freaking years. I cannot believe it. And I've known him for almost 6 years of my life. That is a long time. So yeah, I know that's very tea. There's a lot more. So if y'all want me to like extend on any of these issues, I got you. And most importantly, Jesus loves you. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, my loves.
Story time on how I got grounded from seeing my boyfriend for 4 months. So basically, me and my boyfriend had been dating for about 4 months. No, 3 months. And both of our best friends at the time were also together, and they got together like the same day as us, so it was our little 2-man completed. The difference is my parents were stricter, so I wasn't able to see my boyfriend a lot. And my best friend at the time, hers were more lenient, I guess. So like her and her boyfriend would have sleepovers and they would see each other like every day. And me, I was getting a little bit FOMO because like I was only seeing my boyfriend like once a week, so I was getting like FOMO. Like I was like why can't I have a sleepover with my boyfriend? Like why can't my boyfriend come over to my house? Because my mom wouldn't let my boyfriend come over to my house. Like she was against boyfriends, like I was able to go to the movies with my boyfriend, like the mall and like stuff like that, but like coming to my house or going to his house, no way, Jose. I also felt bad for my boyfriend because I was like, damn, like he probably sees his homeboy going to his girlfriend's house and like he can't even come to my house. Like I was like feeling FOMO for the both of us. Like, so basically, like I said, it was like a 2-man completed, so we would obviously always go on double dates together. One time we had planned to go to a haunted house because this was beginning October. We had planned to go to a haunted house. And then I don't know why, like I guess my ex-best friend, so you were saying my ex-best friend, her boyfriend did not want to go anymore to the haunted house. So then she was like, oh, like he doesn't want to go to the haunted house, like I think he just wants to stay home. So then me and my best friend, like we were on the phone and like we came to the conclusion, like why don't we just have a sleepover? But mind you, we had to be real sneaky about this because my mom did not let me sleep over nobody's house unless it was like my grandma's or my dad who's not my dad. So then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tell my mom that it's my sister's birthday. Mind you, this is in October. My sister's birthday isn't until June. So I was like, I'm going to just tell my mom that it's my sister's birthday and I'm going to sleep over my dad's house for the party or whatever. And mind you, this was going to work in my favor because my ex-best friend and my ex-dad, they live like a block away from each other. So it was going to work out. Which it did. We had the sleepover, right? I thought I won until the day after the sleepover. Monday, I go to school, and mind you, it was my boyfriend's birthday, okay? So I remember going to school, and I remember posting him for his birthday, and I posted pictures from the sleepover, right? And mind you, I was smart about this. I posted it on my spam because I thought I could trust my family, But somebody ended up taking pictures, like taking screenshots of my spam and sending it to my mom while I was in school. So then I text my mom in school and I'm like, hey, can I go get ice cream with my friends after school? And she's like, don't ask me for nothing. So I knew she was mad at me. And mind you, in the back of my head, I was like, she knows. So I'm over here trying to get out of her. I'm like, why are you mad? She's not telling me, she's not answering me. And I'm just like, break. I'm like, so then when I get home, my dad shows me the pictures and he's like, is this AI? I was like, yes. No. And I was just too stunned to speak. So anyways, fast forward, I get in trouble. And that's literally why I was grounded from seeing him for 4 months. Like, I wasn't allowed to be with him. I wasn't allowed to call him. I wasn't allowed to text him. I wasn't allowed to nothing. Thank you, Mommy, for forgiving me. And I'm not a bad kid no more, guys. I don't lie no more. And I don't sneak around anymore. And I'm a changed person. And yeah, love you, Mommy. Also, make sure you guys follow me because we're trying to get to 400K. Okay, thank you.
Get ready with me while I tell you guys the story on how I got into a fight on my birthday. On my birthday, guys, I got into a fight. Get your popcorn, get your snack, get your candy, get your tea, get your wine, and let's talk because I have a story to tell y'all. So let's just backtrack. Around my birthday, me, my sister, and my best friend had stayed in New York for like 2 days. So we went out to eat, and after we decided that we were just gonna find somewhere to go, you know, like a club or something in New York. My birthday falls on Halloween weekend, so a lot of the clubs that we wanted to go to were very like packed, sold out. We chose one club and it was a costume party. We go to the club and it's packed. There's like 3 floors to this club. We were on the 2nd floor and we ended up, you know, getting a drink, mingling. We've had a couple drinks before that. Like we went out to dinner, we had some shots. My birthday hit 12, so you know we was taking shots. Like you already know. Now let me preference this. We were not drunk. We were tipsy. We definitely was not sober, but we weren't drunk at all. Me and my bestie and my sister decided that we were gonna go upstairs. If you know, you know, when you're a girl, you do something called a lap. If you know, you know what a lap is. We went back downstairs, but my sister stayed upstairs. She was talking to the bartender. We were like, okay, shit, girl, we'll be back. We're listening to music. We're having a great time. We're vibing out. And these 2 girls come. One of the girls bumps into my friend. So we're kind of looking at her like, okay, whatever. We give her the benefit of the doubt. We've all been there. We've all been sloppy. We've all been bugging. She clearly gone, so let's just move on. Okay, she ends up, you know, moving on, going away, having a good time. She pushes my friend again. She bumps into her again. My friend gives her the look. She gives her the look. And that's when I knew. She basically is like, girl. The girl kind of gave us like a late reaction. Her and her friend come up to me and my friend. And the girl looks at me and she goes, you need to tell your friend to watch out. I immediately was like, you the one who's bumping into her. You need to watch where you're going. You're mad sloppy. I was like, get it together, babe. What are you doing? One thing about my bestie, she's not gonna stand there and watch me argue with a girl. She gonna get in the paint too. We arguing with her. Now my bestie's like, no, 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 no. They're in each other's faces at this point. Security comes in between them and is basically like, yo, you go over there and me and my bestie went over here. I'm trying to have a good time. So we let it go. All of a sudden, the girls across the club going like this to my bestie. My bestie sees it. Oh, she sees it all right. She's like, yeah, come here. Come here. So what did the girl do? She pulled up. They start arguing again. And then her little friend is next to her recording. I go like this to her camera. I was like this. Smack that camera. I'm here in the midst of all this. All I see. My bestie threw them hands. That girl was in her face. She said, get out of my face. I said, here we go, y'all. So they start fighting. Mind you, this is in the middle of the club. We are in the middle of the club. So I'm letting them get their ones because my bestie needs that because you was messing with her all night. I'm standing there. Mind you, my phone is in my hand like this, okay? And her friend tries to jump my friend. Her friend starts to hit my friend. Y'all, I ain't never moved so fast in my life. Let me tell y'all this right now. I said, oh, hell no. Boop. That girl put her hands up. She said, I'm good. I said, you damn right you good. Back up. We not doing that. Get back to reality real quick. Bestie's still fighting. And I'm like, oh, no. Security? Nowhere to be found. I'm security now, okay? I said, yeah, we not doing this. I yanked her off of the girl. So I took her off and I was like, yo, let's go. We gotta go. So we start running. We're running, bro. I call my sister. I'm like, yo, come downstairs. We just got into a fight. We gotta go. I'm honestly just dying of laughter at this point. My sister's just like, oh my God, this is crazy. What a night. Like, truly, what a night. Moral of the story, don't get too drunk, ladies. If you're gonna drink, don't get too drunk. Let's stay classy. Hope you guys enjoyed this get ready with me and my story time, my crazy story time. Bye, guys.
I got caught in the staircase eating eggplant. I had just started the school. And I was like, find me the most populous man in this school right now because I'm gonna date him. Oh my God, I was such a... I went to a theater art school, so we didn't have many selections. They told me that actor, let's call him actor because he was a whole actor. Actor was supposedly the most popular guy in school, but he was a sophomore. Months went on, and my little group of friends, they tell me like, oh my God, can you believe that actor's single now? In my opinion, this man was not cute. He was not cute, so I was like, yes, I could believe it. Then my friend started telling me, he's like, oh, you don't think he's cute? Like, I thought you wanted to date the most popular guy in school. And I was like, yeah, but like, I wasn't that on it when I saw like how he looked. But it's like, I don't know. Then my friends kept saying like, no, he is a cute guy. So much so that I started believing this man is cute. As time went on, he like would look at me in the hallway, and I started like looking at him back. He finally like approached me, and he started talking to me about my life, started asking me stuff. We kept dating. He invites me to the movies. While we're at the he told me like, we can stay here all day. Like, I know a way to like sneak in and out of the movie theater. We watch a movie. We then get out of that movie theater, and we go like downstairs and go into another movie theater. In that movie theater, that man grabs my face and eats my face up. Literally. I felt so disgusted because he wasn't even kissing my mouth anymore. He was kissing my cheek. And I just remember all that liquid just going everywhere. He then proceeds to go to my neck. While he's in my neck, he's having a round town moment there. And I'm just like, okay, that hurts. I literally felt like it was a leech and I had to be like... So then he continued to do it. And me there trying to play a cool girl, trying to play the coolest girlies in the world. Just like, yeah, okay, fine. Continue to do it. We get out of the movie theater and I'm literally like feeling like it was throbbing. I put my phone open. Guys, I had like jicky this big. So then I immediately Googled, how do you remove one? It said that you get like pencils, like the eraser top of a pencil and start like erasing it. So we go to Walgreens, I get a pencil and I start removing it. The easiest way would be like to put a spoon in the freezer and press on it. I don't got time for that. So I went to Sephora, I got makeup, so embarrassing. Yes, like the workers were probably there looking at me like, hello, I'm this little girl, I don't know what's going on. I then get home, put the spoon in the freezer, put the spoon in the... Then the next day I take that spoon out and I start like pressing on it, scrapping, and then I put makeup on it. I then went to role practice and like I left it so like you could see a little tint. While I practice, nobody's noticing because yes, I wanted to be shown, but like I didn't want to be shown by everybody, so I did cover it up good. I just thought I left like a little thing for my close friends to see. So I'm next to my friends and like nobody's saying nothing, so I just like scratched a little bit there and I'm just like, oh my god, I feel so uncomfortable. Then my friend says, Liz, what do you have there? And I was like, no, don't tell me you could see it. She was like, Liz, that looks really bad. I was like, oh my god, I know, it's so embarrassing. Don't look at it. Do you have makeup on you? She was like, no, girl, but like, don't let nobody see that because that looks real bad and ratchet. I was like, oh my god, I know, that's so embarrassing. Time went on and we went on a date to Toys R Us. We went to school by the Toys R Us in Times Square. And in that Toys R Us, there was apparently like this area, like in the last floor that you can hide. So we were hiding there and we were like making out. As we're making out, I'm feeling it again, the slobber all over my face. And I'm just getting so disgusted. Like, I'm getting the ick. Like, I could break up with you right now, sir. Like, I guess he noticed that I was like getting like a little turned off. We eventually broke up. I don't know who initiated the breakup. Clearly, he was the one that was hurt though. I was cool with like all the sophomores. But after me and him broke up, they like distanced themselves a little bit from me. I was confused to what happened exactly, but I eventually find out. I then become a junior and there was this guy in our high school that I always found him cute. Like even from when we started high school, I just never got with him because he wasn't like fully my vibe. But towards junior year, he became my vibe. I don't know how we initiated things, but we initiated things. And he was friends with actor. But nobody in the school knew. Like, people in my school are probably finding this out now. I started getting the freak on with his friend. I never got the freak on with actor. I did get the freak on with his friend. I would go to his house and this white man, all love to you though, this white man was playing Maury. I never watched Maury. Like, I never really like, I've heard of it because people talk about, but I never watched it. So I was like, not this white man with canoes in his house watching Maury's. I liked his vibe. We continued like to mess around. And then one day he tells me like, I know this is super weird, but like, did you really eat actor's eggplant in the staircase? I was like, what? What are you talking about? He was like, yeah, he told us all that you ate his eggplant in the staircase of the school. That's why he broke up with you, because you were too like easy. I said, I never even seen that man's eggplant in my life. That man ate my face up and I got the ick and I didn't want to be with him. And then the worst part of it all was I couldn't confront actor because my little sneaky lady told me like, don't say anything. Like, I generally thought you did it.
Okay guys, story time where my ex threatened me with a gun. We were together, but we weren't together. And you know, when you're in that phase, you still care, like I did. I got back together about, when was this? a little bit before Thanksgiving. Who wouldn't want to get back with their ex? I mean, he was fine stuff. Let's be real. But I also look better than him. I built him. Like, I gave him high ego, baby. High. He started taking me on dates or whatever, and I'm falling for it, y'all. The promise ring stage. First, mind you, why didn't I get a promise ring the first time? Happy about it, but at the same time, I'm like, why didn't I get one when we were dating in the beginning? Why am I getting one second go round? Like, do I look like a second go round type of girl? Hold on, I look a little tan. Y'all, I also don't get no sun. So cute. It was like heart shaped, and it looked like a Pandora ring until I found out it wasn't real. He told me it was from Pandora, and then I looked up the actual Pandora heart ring, and it looked nothing like it. Y'all, this story's gonna be all over the place because I'm trying to think W stage. So I'm like really happy about my ring. Like, I would literally take a picture and post it on my spam every single day like this. Okay, before I get into like the actual cheating and how I got a gun held to my head. Okay, basically before I get to that part about how I got cheated on and got a gun held to my head, I'm gonna give you like a little backstory. Friends don't like your man. Listen. It's like so like sweet to me. Like, I'm not seeing past like loving him a lot. I would try to record a TikTok, or like, you know, like you want to record a TikTok with your man or anything. He would like hide his face. And I'm like, okay. And I'm thinking like, okay, maybe he just doesn't want to be in the TikTok right now. Be for real. That girl gut feeling, that's a bad boy. It was bad. Like, I would be with him and I would just feel like something's up. His location would turn off and it would come back on like just out of nowhere. But like, why is it off in the first place? And like the first 2 times he blamed it on updating his phone. Do I look stupid? But why are you updating your phone twice in 1 month? And go, I wanted to sit down first and then go get our snacks, but I was like, okay, we could just hurry up and get them and then go in the movie theater. So, hey, the total is probably like $19. This dude started patting his pants. Like, you know how when a boy go to reach in his pants, get his wallet, and nothing came out. And so he started kind of like low-key patting his pants, and I'm just like, I have my head in my phone, but I'm like, This was like my last straw because I like to eat and I'm embarrassed on top of wanting to eat. Elena called me. She's very clingy. Okay, where was I? Oh, see the movie, and we're already late to the movie. Don't have any money. So I'm like, okay, I guess I gotta pay. Like, it's just not giving. Like, you're supposed to go to the movies, your man's supposed to pay, sit down, you're supposed to be a princess, watch the movie, eat your food. But no, it wasn't like that. If he didn't know who SpongeBob was, he wouldn't be able to tell me what color he was in the movie. He never picked his head up out of that phone. Then he kept going to the bathroom. I've never seen somebody go to the bathroom in the middle of a movie so much in my life. He went to the bathroom 3 times, but he like chopped it up. I'm gonna come back and watch our stuff, then you can go. What? His phone and the little black thing that pulls out. And it's like, it's face down. First of all, why that phone not faced up? It's so close. So I'm like, if that thing just ring, I'm picking it up. You got your phone down since when? Like, why'd you put it down? That phone. Sorry guys, my brother. I pick up the phone and I like look at it. And like, he has his messages to where it shows like, it says, are you gonna come see me when you leave? Y'all, this is the bad part. I rode there with him. So I couldn't just get up and leave. Okay, y'all, at this point, I don't even want to be at the movies. Boiling at this point. I'm going off. I'm like, why? Like, who is this? Okay, so once again, like I was saying, we're in the car, and I'm really upset at this point. I'm heated. He reaches in his pocket. Guess what he pulls out? A joke. I really just wanted to yap and show y'all my makeup tutorial and just let y'all know that this was a joke. This never happened. I will never have an ex hold a gun to my head. And I will never let a man play with me like that. Ever. And on that note, bye guys. And she ain't safe. Y'all want to know who was in on it?
Okay guys, so I wanted to come here and talk about how everything happened. I just wanted to explain how everything happened so you guys can leave me alone. But the thing is, you guys won't leave me alone, but at least I know that I told you guys the truth, and that's it. So I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna tell you guys for what it was and for what it is. I'm gonna be so dead honest with you on why I did shit and stuff like that. I don't want you guys to have empathy, sympathy, whatever. I don't want you guys to feel I don't want you guys to defend me or anything. I'm telling you guys, this was my choice. I did it, okay? So, and for whoever defends me and stuff like that, whoever's defending me, thank you so much. I appreciate it, but you don't have to. So basically, it started in November and stuff. I don't know what possessed me to do this, but I have a feeling it was part of male validation as well, because that's how it is. So I started seeing that I was gaining a lot of followers and stuff like that from the whole yeah, I saw that. It went to Nigeria for some reason. I don't know how it traced all the way to Nigeria. And that's how that's why a lot of you guys think it's bots and stuff like that, but it's just Nigerian people that were in my comments before and stuff like that. So I don't know. Also, I'm not saying they're all Nigerian now, because now it changed to US Nigerians. Yeah. So in November something, I started selling my nudes to just random people, because I used to see on Instagram requests, hey, are you selling content? And I said, maybe I should, just for the fun of it. That's it. I realized that I was so shaky too, but I just started selling content and stuff. I never had OnlyFans. I just sold it like on Snapchat, because you could send videos there. But I don't have a Snapchat account. That Snapchat account was only for that, just to do my little transactions for selling the content. I didn't stop doing it until probably March, February is when I actually stopped doing it. The reason why I did it was because at first I wanted to try it out to see if it was cool. Oh, I got money, cool. So yeah, and then I started getting a little bit greedy. So I wanted to do more, but at the same time, I was dating around this time, and I'm still dating him around this time. I was dating, and he didn't know that I sold the thing. He didn't know that his face was shown in it. He didn't know anything. He didn't know at all. So that was bad on my part as well. Around January and stuff like that, we are on and off. He's on and off and stuff like that. And I'm talking about the dude that's in the videos with me. It's an on and off relationship. He cheated on me, I cheated on him. I'm a bird, so be it. I'm not trying to be a bird, but it's kind of hard when it's your first everything and stuff like that. So yeah, the reason why I did it was because I started seeing more like, oh, they're giving me more validation and stuff like that for my body, how I look. Okay, cool, and stuff like that. But then I stopped in February because we came back together, and it was just all over the place. It was all over the place, but I had agreed not to sell my content anymore, because I didn't like the way, I just didn't like it. Like, after all these years and stuff like that, this nigga has put me through hell and back. And you know what I did? I went hell and back, and I'm still back with him. I don't understand why I did it, but I did it because I just wanted that satisfaction of somebody liking me. But then I realized they all just liked me for my body, and they were just paying for my body, so I had to cut it off, because I was like, I don't like this. I don't like the way I feel about this and stuff like that. I knew from the beginning. I told him too. I told my current boyfriend. I told him that I sold it and stuff like that, and he said he was a little bit pissed and stuff, but he was just shocked. And he was like, how did somebody get the videos? I told him that I sold it without his consent too. So he could have sued me, or he could have done whatever and stuff like that, but he didn't. So yeah, I should have never done that. I should have consulted with him before I even did what I did, but I did it. So then a few weeks has passed and stuff. A few months has passed. I'm doing work, and I'm going to school. I'm working and stuff like that. Then I see on Twitter, I see everybody starting to impersonate me. They have my videos and stuff like that. So now I see accounts impersonating me. A lot of accounts impersonating me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. A lot of accounts impersonating me. So you know what I did? I ended up creating an X account myself. For that short little time, I think it only lasted 2 weeks, like a week and a half maybe. So I had created that Twitter account just specifically only for you guys to follow me on that Twitter, so you guys know that this is my Twitter. Whoever is impersonating me on Twitter, you know that it's fake, because this is my Twitter account. You guys will follow it. Since I was already selling content and stuff like that, I was like, why don't this Twitter, I just start teasing everybody. I don't show too much, but I don't show too little. So I ended up doing those little things, but I never published my sex tape freely out to the public like that for free. I never did that. So I stopped that because I did not like that either. I don't know what the fuck is going on with me, but I need to actually check myself mentally, because I don't know what the fuck was going on. But sorry for cursing. But on Twitter, I ended up deleting my Twitter because I did not like it and stuff like that. I did not like it. So yeah, a couple of months has passed and stuff like that. Now I'm seeing, oh, selling content. I'm seeing my thing on the internet. I'm seeing the things that I sold to people. I'm seeing it on the internet now. So yeah, and then now let's trace back today now. I see this X account in person. I see so many X account impersonating me. They have verified accounts and stuff like that. You do know, guys, that you can buy a verified check mark on your thing. So now it's free to the public. Not free, but you have to buy it in order to. So just because they're verified doesn't mean that's me. I'm not promoting this whatsoever. You guys can think otherwise. Cool. Yeah. So now they're impersonating as me, and now everybody knows. Sorry. Now everybody sees my tapes out for free and stuff. When I never published my S tapes out for free. I never did that whatsoever. So therefore, yeah. And the reason why I say, and then now it's been a whole crazy thing, and yeah, I most likely need to take legal action to delete this whole Twitter page, because they are impersonating me, and they're putting other people videos that are not even mine and making it seem like I'm a hoe, when I only dated one boy and only effed one boy. That's it. And I say you guys make a joke out of women rather than men, because you guys saw his account. You guys saw his account on my comments sometimes, underneath my comments, my TikTok video comments. You guys saw him on my live, and you guys know what you guys do? Instead of giving him the same energy that you guys give me, putting stickers and stuff like that, you guys go to his comments and ask him, oh, how did you pull her? How did you crack her? You guys don't be giving the same treatment as me. I'm not saying give it to him, but I'm saying you guys will do that to a woman before you guys do that to a man. His face was shown just as much as my face was shown in the videos. So, and that's all I have to say. That's how everything started. Perceive me however you want to perceive me as, but that's the honest truth. And also for the ones that's asking, I don't have a Telegram, I don't have a Facebook, I don't have a Lock Me, I don't have any porn sites to do with. I don't have one Instagram and multiple TikTok accounts that you'll know it's me. That's it.
So I was talking to my mom the other day and I was like, who was your maid of honor? Because I didn't know. And I expected her to say someone I knew. And she goes, oh, you don't know her? And I'm like, why? She was like, because I don't talk to her anymore. And I'm like, why not? She goes, I actually don't know. I have not seen her since the year after our wedding. I was like, tell me everything. This tea is 35 years old and it's the most piping hot tea I've ever heard. So my parents got married young. Like my mom was 20, my dad's 23. They have this couple that are their best friends. Let's call them Patty and Dino. I don't know if that's her real name, but I think that is his real name. Patty's my mom's maid of honor. So maybe a year after they get married, they all go to Florida together. And they're staying at my grandparents' condo. So the first night they go out to a bar on the beach and they have a great time. Like my parents remember it as like a memorable, fun night. Anyway, next morning they wake up and Patty is not talking to my mom. And although my mom thought this was weird, she didn't read too much into it because she's like, whatever, maybe everybody was just severely hungover. So that couple wasn't trying to hang out with my parents that day. So my parents said, fuck them, let's go to Disney. So my parents drive to Orlando. They go to Disney for a couple nights. And they get back. Patty still isn't talking to my mom. And Dino's not talking to my mom either, but Dino is talking to my dad. Patty's talking to no one. So they go to the beach. Dino and my dad are talking. No one's speaking to my mom, minus my dad. At one point, I guess my parents are like, okay, we're gonna go get lunch. Do you wanna come? And they're like, no, we're good. And by them, I mean Dino said, no, we're good, to my dad. So they go for lunch. When they get back, the second they get back, the other couple stands up and goes for lunch. So my mom's like, okay. They get back from lunch and then my parents go, okay, we're gonna go back to the condo. And Dino says to my dad, oh, we're gonna stay here for a little bit longer. My dad says, okay, I'll come pick you up at 4 o'clock at this street because it's 1989, whatever. Just meet me at this. Parents go back to the condo. And my mom says to my dad, I'm gonna pick them up from the beach. And my dad's like, okay. Dad goes and takes a nap at 4 o'clock. My mom goes to the beach and they're both standing there. They see it's my mom. Without saying a word, both of them get into the back seat of the car. So my mom's now driving them around like a taxi driver. So now in her head, she's irate. She's also insane. So on the way back to my condo, there's a roundabout and she starts going in circles around the roundabout. She goes around the roundabout like 15 times because she's like, surely they will break this silence to say, what the fuck are you doing? You've been driving in circles for 10 minutes. But no, they don't say a word. So they get back to the condo and my mom literally gets out of the car and looks at them and says, pack your shit. Lou's taking you to the airport. And they start freaking out, which is hilarious. So they're freaking out. She starts crying. They're like, Christine. She's like, nope, pack everything. You're loud. Goes to the room. My dad's asleep. She goes, wake up. I kicked them out of the condo. And apparently she was laughing too. My dad's like, what? And she's like, I kicked them out of the condo and you have to drive them to the airport. My dad's like, what the fuck? So he wakes up from a nap. He goes out and Dino's going, Lou, I'm sorry. Like my wife, she can be like a little funny sometimes. My dad's like, yeah, sorry, man. Like if she says you gotta go, like now the wife's on the patio sobbing. She's asking my dad if she can apologize to my mom. And my mom is inside going, no, get in the fucking car. My parents take them to the airport. 1989, no flights, no phones. You're not figuring anything out till you get there. Dad leaves them there. Sorry, did I say my parents took them to the airport? I mean, my dad took them to the airport. My dad leaves them there, never saw them again. Heard through the grapevine that they got divorced a year later. Still don't know what the fuck her problem was, but the assumption, I guess, is that her husband was hitting on my mom that night or something. She was nuts, who knows? Anyway, that's the story of my mom's maid of honor. Isn't that juicy? This gets to her. What was your problem, bitch?
Oh, he's low-key in the closet? I don't know. I love when a man does me dirty and I have to embarrass him on the internet with you guys so we could talk shit. So let me tell you about this man that low-key likes dick. I'm gonna call this man T. His name rhymes with mom. So one thing about this man T, loves to get drunk, loves to go out and party. Like, are you a bitch? If you're single, do your big one, go out, party, whatever. But if you're trying to take someone seriously, you're not gonna do any of that. It's just a bad look. Also, this man T had a million girlfriends that were all like bitchy and nasty. There was like 2 of them that were really sweet and I actually fucked with, but the other ones were just bitchy and nasty. Turns out the bitch that he was talking to like right before me was her friend, so I think that's why she was also so nasty to me. Or you're just jealous, bitch. Yeah, we would always go out and this bitch would start with me and I'd get pissed off and we would have to leave. Wow, big deal. This is where I got the ick so bad, when I literally was at a barbecue at his friend's house and we were all just sitting like talking whatever. I see his guy friend grab his face from sitting and kiss him on the mouth, bro, like on the lips. Cause like in 2026, like be gay, like no one cares. We all support you, we all love the gays, but like I don't want a gay man. Like I want a straight man. So I'm looking at him like, what the hell? And I got such the ick, like literally thinking about it. And he's like defending and he's like, yo, like I didn't do it. He grabbed me, but you literally kissed him on the lips. Like you let it happen. Now I'm not into that stuff. Like your girl is straight. I want a straight man that only wants me and not other men in front of me, because any other straight man would literally freak out and probably punch the dude. But like you were okay with it. It was chilling. It was fine. So obviously that's not the first time it happened. If you were just okay with it and you're like, wow, like, yeah. All my gays and nays, just please let me know what you think on this. That ship has fucking sailed. Now you could make out with your guy friend instead of just giving pecks. Cause like literally the whole night that was like replaying in my head. I was like, did that just really happen in front of my face? Like when I tell you, me and my friends were dying for like mad long just thinking about it, because they were not expecting that at all. And clearly I wasn't either. But yeah, that was the little date update. Clearly it didn't work. He likes God. I love you bitches. And always remember, before you talk to a man, if you're straight, just ask them if they kiss their guy friends on the low. Bye bitches.
My friend wanted to fight me because I wouldn't bump coochies with her. Okay, let's do a quick story time while I do my homework because it helps me concentrate. Okay, I used to have this friend, let's name her Anna. And, you know, Anna just went through a breakup. It was pretty bad. So me being the good friend I am, I'm like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and call her and see what's going on. She was like, boom, come over. Like, I really need your support. Went to Walgreens, and then I also went to her favorite snack place. They have all snacks and stuff. I forget what it's called, but I bought her a whole bunch of stuff from there, put it all in the basket, and went to Anna's house. And when I got to Anna's house, Anna was completely butt naked. When she opened the door, Anna had no clothes on. I saw everything from top to bottom, and I would not process everything, and I couldn't understand why. Like for part 2.
They say early bird got the worm, right? I might tell you a little story. Stick with me. It might get a little long, but it's going to get juicy. So, all I know is bitches be out here really lying about being pregnant, though. But, hey, let me continue. So, my 16-year-old friend said that she knew somebody on her, you know, from her son's side that faked their whole pregnancy and was changing different belly bumps. Wearing a little fake belly bump, the prosthetic belly or whatever. And not only did she do that, she was changing them. She was changing them out. They was appearing really different, you know, and they was going to doctor visits, y'all. Doctor visits. I was like, what? How in the... She said she probably was getting dropped off at the doctor or, you know. I said, wow, that's crazy. You went as far as that. She was faking an ultrasound. She was faking all of that, y'all, just to get them baby showers. She had a baby shower on her mama's side and the daddy side. The mama thought she was pregnant. It wasn't until the girl got into it with the supposed baby daddy, slapped the baby daddy mama, and then she got pushed by the baby daddy mama. She fell, and they seen that damn fake-ass stomach. And then she told me, my 16-year-old friend said, and then the bitch got the nerve to sit in front of them damn gifts on all them pictures and smell. Like, what the fuck? They need to be studied. Bro, something the fuck is wrong with you? Like, I know a bitch who actually faked her pregnancy and she went to the baby shower. Like, y'all have the nerve to fake your pregnancy and have the nerve to be in the pictures smiling like that. Like, you proud of the shit. The fuck? That's remedial for real, bitch.
Story time about how I found out my ex-boyfriend was gay while we were in a relationship. So, like, imagine being in love with a guy that's in love with a guy. Yeah, that's what it was like. I always kind of had my doubts, and, like, other people would kind of say, like, you sure he not gay? And I'd be like, he is not gay, trust me, he's not gay. Like, don't do my boyfriend. And I would always defend him because that's my boyfriend, that's my man, and I'm gonna stick beside him. So he would always, like, literally always go with his friends, and they would just, like, do anything. He would always be with them, and I would be like, can I have some of your time? It was so bad. Like, can I have some of your time too? It got to the point where I felt like he was cheating, but he was cheating with another woman and just saying, like, he was going with his friends. No. He would say stuff like, I'm done with him. And, y'all, it was so bad. I don't know how I didn't see it. It was so bad. They would even have arguments, and he would be like, I'm not talking to him no more. Like, imagine your boyfriend
saying stuff like, I'm not going to talk to him no more. Like, he's selfish. He just, y'all, it sounded like they was in a relationship for real. That's why I will always say, like, that's your boyfriend. Like, do I even have a boyfriend? That's your boyfriend. Leading up to the day that I found out, we were going through a really rough patch and we were arguing all the time. And a lot of time we would argue and he would like tell me like stuff like, it's just stuff that I got to work on with myself. Like, it's not you. It's just stuff that I have to work on. And I'll be like, what is it? Like a bunch of unanswered questions. Okay, y'all, I'm back. Story time, how I found out my boyfriend was gay, part 2. So like 3 days before I found out for real, my friend sent me a video of 3 men doing a thing. If y'all know it was a porno. The video was only 32 seconds long. It was super blurry and it only showed like a glimpse of his face. So I couldn't tell that it was him or if it was him or not. Y'all, we spent like a full-blown hour trying to figure it out. We couldn't figure it out, but one thing about me is I'm going to investigate and I will figure it out. The next time I saw him, I asked him if I can use his phone real quick. He let me, but like I can tell he was kind of watching what I was doing, like looking over me. So I went to his text messages. And I saw that he had a text message from his friend that I was talking about in part 1. We're going to call him Brian. The text message said, we need to do that again. We need to do that again. And then right before I can press the message and go look at it, he snatches his phone away from me. At this point, I'm really in detective mode because either you cheating on me or you cheating on me with a man. Y'all, it get worse from here.
Like for part 3. Part 3.
Okay, y'all, I'm back. Part 3, story time, how I found out my ex-boyfriend was gay. So this is where everything really starts to unfold. He snatches the phone out my hand, and at this point, I'm still in denial. But in the back of my mind, I already knew the truth that I had to face. I just feel like it would have been easier to digest if it was a woman. After he snatched the phone from me, we started arguing because what are you hiding? What was it that him and Brian needed to do again? Y'all, this man looks me dead in my eyes and tell me that I'm tripping and him and Brian was talking about going back out of town. But here's the kicker. From my understanding, him and Brian had never been out of town. I'm like, you sound stupid as hell. When did y'all even go out of town in the first place? Now he's stumbling over his words and he looking like he just got caught. Like he's scared. So he started confessing that they went out of town for a day while I was on my girls trip. He didn't want to tell me because he didn't want to bother me while I was out there. What the hell sense does that even make? We talked every single day while I was out there. Every single day. We argued about that for a while until I realized that that was probably the least of my worries. Because for one, you might have a gay sex tape out on the internet. And for two, why are you and your friend talking in a sexual manner? But I knew for a fact that I wasn't gonna get that he was gay out of him that night. So I decided to let it go that night and investigate the next day, since he had already told me that he was going out with the guys the next day. Like for part 4, this is where I catch him in the act. Never mind, forget that. Like for part 3 and a half, I'll upload it in the next 2 hours.
Part 3 and a half.
Again in the same day with story time, part 3 and a half, how I found out my ex-boyfriend was gay. So I told him that I was gonna stay in that night, and I told him to have fun, do your thing. Meanwhile, I was gathering a whole plan of action. I asked my sister if she can switch cars with me, so he wouldn't have known that it was me, because he would never recognize my sister's car how he recognized my car. So that night I told him that I was gonna go ahead and go to sleep. It was probably about like 9 o'clock, but I was very much woke. Very much.
Like for part 4, the big reveal. Part 4.
Alright, y'all, this is it. Part 4, how I found out my ex-boyfriend was gay. Now, this is a part that I have literally been dreading. So I told him that I was going to go ahead and go to sleep, and I told him be safe, have fun, just so, you know, he wouldn't, like, suspect anything. They usually leave out at, like, 10, so I waited till like 9:30 to head that way. When I got there, my ex's car was there, but Brian's car wasn't. So I sat there and waited to see if anybody would come, whether it be him, another girl, another guy. I just sat there and waited. I probably waited for like 30 minutes, and then Brian pulls up. I told myself, I don't know what time they leaving, but I'm gonna give him like an hour max. The hour passed and nobody else showed up, but also they never left out. In my mind, I'm like, dang, I should have never told him I was going to sleep, because I need to be able to ask him if he at the club or not, if he left yet, to see what he said. So I decided to text him and tell him that I couldn't sleep, and I asked him if they had made it to the club yet. I kid y'all not, this man tells me, yeah, we here, but I'm kind of ready to go. It was something like that. Like he was saying that he was ready to go. I'm like, bro, why do you have to do, all you had to say was, yeah, you didn't have to do all that lying. What you doing all that lying for? So I just played along with it. And I asked him what time he planned on going home. He like, probably in an hour or so. Y'all, I'm like, this is crazy. Now, keep in mind, I have a key. We got a key to each other house. Well, we had a key. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to give him like 15 minutes and I'm going in. 15 minutes passed and I'm like, okay, it's time. I'm going. So I went up to the door and listened, but I didn't hear anything. Then I turned the doorknob and the door is not even locked. Walked in and I was terrified. I was freaking terrified. They not in the living room. They not in the kitchen. I don't see them when I first come in. So I'm like, God, please don't let this man be in this bedroom. Then I started to hear moaning and I knew right then and there exactly what was going on. I wanted to turn around and go home. I didn't even care no more, but I had to figure it out. So I went ahead and busted in the door, and y'all will never believe what I had to witness.
He was giving Brian that gawk 3000.
On his knees, yo.
Let me tell y'all why it's always good to mind your neighbor's business. So, I hope she do not see this TikTok, because I'm about to tell her business. But girl, I be telling my business too, so if you see it, hey, I kind of miss you. We never got to know each other, but I always wanted to be your friend. Anyway, so my mama, a couple years ago, like 4-5 years ago, we used to live in like a townhome. But like the type of townhome we lived in, it was a downstairs and it was an upstairs. And we lived on the downstairs. And we had a neighbor right above us. So the neighbor above us was a young girl. She was cute. She was cool. But I always told my mama, I said, Mom, it's something about her. I don't know what it is, but it's something about her. And I'm always right. My mama didn't pay much attention. But then like a year or two went by and I started paying her attention, because at first I wasn't paying her much attention because I was never really at home. But when I was at home, I was paying her attention. And one day I asked my mama, I said, Mom, what does she do for work? My mom was like, she do hair. She's like, why? I'm like, because that bitch is always at home. Like, she never, ever go nowhere. Then I'm like, why she always listen to sad-ass music? Like, what's wrong with her? Mom told me, she was like, yeah, her baby daddy shot on her face, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. But then, she had a boyfriend living with her, right? And it was just, their whole situation was weird. We ain't about to get into that. But she ended up shooting him in the stomach, right? Crazy. I'm about to tell you, that's a whole other story. But anyways, one day I was at home, sitting in my room, and I hear bop, 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 and I'm like, oh my God. My mom was like, what is you doing? And I'm like, that's not me. And I'm like, they upstairs shooting. So yeah, we running around the house like fucking chickens with our head cut off because the girl upstairs is shooting her man up, right? So boom. He went to jail, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, right? He left. So the people, at the leasing office said, hey boo, you up here shooting in this predominantly Caucasian area, you gotta go. So I'm like, Ma, it's weird because like for her to do hair, at that time, for like a whole 2 months, she was at home, like, not doing shit, right? Like, literally at home every day. The only thing she did was wake up, take her son to school, and that was it. But every time she stepped up the door, she was drippy as fuck. And her shit wasn't from the gate, it was real, because I know real shit when I see real shit. But I'm like, maybe she's a swiper, because, like, I don't know. It's just giving swiper. Like, she gave me a weird vibe, but it was never a bad vibe. It was just a vibe, but I want to be your friend, because I want to be in your business, because what the fuck is up? Ooh, excuse me, but what the fuck is up? So, as she's getting ready to move out and shit, I started noticing this man just came over all the time. Like, all the time this man just came over, and I kept saying, he look like a sad-ass man. Like, why he always looking so sad? So, as she moving and shit, I hear her talking to him. She was like, yes, it's time for me to eat now. You need to feed me. Whole fucking time, this bitch is a motherfucking dominatrix. Then the neighbor 2 doors down, like, oh yeah, she got an OF too. My friend told me about it. I subscribed to it. I'm like, Ma, I told you. It was something about her. I knew it wasn't bad, but it was just like, girl, why you ain't never tell me? We could have been fucking friends. I hope you see this girl hit me up.
This boy mutilated himself in the name of love for me. Y'all have been asking about who the craziest guy that I dated in high school. I went to a rich private Christian school in Dallas. This is the story of who we're gonna call Dre. Summer break after my freshman year, when all of my rich private Christian school friends in Dallas were going on wonderful adventures in Paris and France or whatever. Sometimes, yes, they would take me, but I was at home and my mother was not giving me an allowance as much because we were middle class and everyone else was driving a Bentley and a Mercedes and Corvette. I wanted to make some extra money, and a girlfriend of mine, Crystal, who went to a public school, she was like, hey, I just got a job at a hookah place. And it was during that time where a lot of kids were going to hookah spots because it was pretty much the only place you could go as a teenager. It was very, very popular. And this one in particular, which is closed down now, which I went to go see, again, if it had been around still, but it was called Jasmine Cafe. Jasmine's was an 18 and up spot. So obviously, this is a spot where you can go to if you're not 21. They also served alcohol, but you could get hookahs there. You had to be 18 to work there. My friend Crystal was 18 at the time, but she was like, hey, they're pretty chill and they hire cute girls even if you're underage. I was like, okay, bet, I'm like trying to make that money, girl. So I went to the place. You walked in and it was kind of in a little alleyway. It almost looked like a Shady Shack on the outside, but there were two entrances. There was the front entrance that was on the main road over in Mockingbird, if you know the Dallas area. And then on the back side, there was the entrance for most of the younger crowd, which was through into the hookah area. So the front area was to get into the restaurant. The back area was to get into the hookah lounge / club area. So we walk in through and we're going through the kitchen. There's like all these pots and pans. I see this white dude over there on the grill making some skewers, shawarma, just cooking it up. We walk into the main area, which is completely open. On the side is the hookah master guy. So he had a little bar and then just all the hookah things and all the flavors, you know, like little caps and everything. And then in the very middle, you had all of the tables, and there were just people all sitting there smoking hookah, having food, and walking around were all the waiters. And I noticed that all the waiters were teenagers. I see this really tall, like probably 6'2" dude who was giving Somber meets Landon Barker vibes. Like he was really, really cute, very pale blue eyes with very shaggy brown hair. And I was in a shaggy brown era during my high school days, y'all. Walk through, him and I are making eyes at each other. I'm like, this man is fine as hell. Crystal's like, oh yeah, that's Dre. He's really cute, right? I'm like, yes, honey. And she's like, oh, but he definitely is kind of damaged. He smokes a lot of weed and he basically listens to sad music in the corner all day in between shifts. And I'm like, oh my God, a sad lover boy, tortured teenage boy, like that is my calling right now. Walk past the beautiful Evanescence looking boy and we walk super nice dudes. They look at me up and down. They go, do you know how to hold a tray? I said, yes. They go, do you have a boyfriend? I said, no. They go, okay, you're hired. I was like, all right, bet. Didn't ask me to see my ID, nothing, okay? I start the next day. All you have to do is you just have to wear all black. It doesn't matter if it's shorts, skimpy, anything. So me and Crystal were like, we want to make some tips. So we were wearing these little short black skirts from Hollister and black tank tops and push-up bras because I meet everyone there. I meet the hookah guy. I meet the other girls that work there. Everyone is around the age of probably 16 to like 20 years old. And I'm for sure definitely the youngest there. The girl that's training me, she's the one that's been working there the longest. And we're going to call her Katie. She is 18 and is just no bullshit. She's covered in tattoos and I can tell that she hates me. She's taking me through everything. She's going really fast. She's like, here's where you put the dishes. Here's where the scullery goes. Tables. Here's da 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 da. I've never had a job in my life, right? So I'm like trying to get it all in. My first shift starts and I obviously walk up. I'm getting the orders for people. I'm having a great time working. I'm conversing with the patrons and the people. I'm bringing them their food. And it's just a really nice day. At the end of my first shift, I'm like excited because we are counting out all the tips and everything. Over in the kitchen area, there's a scullery area, and I'm seeing Dre walking over and he's putting a huge thing of plates there. As I'm watching him do that, he just kind of looks at me and smiles. In walks Katie, and she's like, Kat, you haven't been busting your tables. I'm like, what do you mean? She's like, after you serve the food and after you serve the check, okay, bitch, you have to bust the tables. I'm like, oh, I actually thought that there were busters that do that. She's like, no. I'm like, okay, well, who has been cleaning my tables this whole time? And I look up and Dre's just kind of smiling at me. And I'm like, oh shit, he was following me around all day, busting my tables for me. I'm like, fuck, my bad. But also, girl, you did not teach me what to do. So after every shift, we would obviously all hang out, smoke cigarettes. It was definitely my clove and pink menthol caramel days during that time. I never inhaled though because I knew that I didn't actually want the smoke in my body and I didn't want to age. So I just wanted to look cool. And also everyone that smoked cigarettes got more breaks. So I was over there smoking my little cigs, trying to be a cool girl. Second or third night, we're all hanging out, counting our tips. The chef was making us some food. I was eating some rice with chicken shawarma and some white sauce and some spicy hot sauce. It was very good. Me and Dre had just been giving each other the eye like that whole week. I'm like, this tortured boy is so fine. I want him to ruin my life. At the time, I was driving my beautiful Roxanne, my favorite and first car that I had. She was a 1997 Jeep Wrangler. She had some lifted ass 42s on her that my brother had put on, and I was obsessed with this car. However, as beautiful as she was very unreliable. And sometimes she wouldn't start. This was one of those days she didn't start. I was one of the last people. I was trying to get the car to start. It was a manual, so sometimes it was a little crankety. And Crystal was like trying to wait for me, but she had to end up going home because she had a curfew. Over walks Dre, and Dre had a old BMW M5. It was probably like a 90 something, but it was a nice car. He's like, hey there, kitty cat. And this is like the first time he's talking to me. What's going on with your car? I'm like, oh, it's just being a little crotchety, but don't worry, she'll end up working. I just have to like keep starting her. And he's like, do you want me to take a look? I'm like, okay. He's like, oh, you know, she just needs to be jumped. Don't worry, I can jump your car because I have jumper cables. I'm like, great. So we're just standing out there smoking cigarettes. He's hooking up the jumper cables and we're just kind of chatting. And he tells me that he actually dropped out of high school, that he is actually from Highland Park, which if you know, that is one of the wealthiest areas in Dallas area. He's like, yeah, I dropped out when I was 16. And so now I'm just working. So I'm like, oh, so you're just a rich kid that left home and now you're working. And he was like, yeah, something like that. I'm like, oh my God, the Lord continues. And so does my attraction for you. He is just such a sweet guy. He's very soft-spoken, very lanky, all the good Charlotte, dashboard confessional, Tumblr boy of my dreams, right? From that day on of him jumping my car, after work every night, we would always sit outside his car, smoke a cigarette, share a adult beverage, do not do as I do, and like have a little chat. And we would have these like very in-depth chats about the universe and the world. And I grew up in a very indoctrinated environment, and I was like, I don't identify with that. I don't identify with the sky daddy. And I didn't ever have anyone to talk to about evolution of the world or my thoughts on where we go after, because I was going to a private school surrounded by people that drank the Kool-Aid, and everyone had to believe that we all had a heaven or hell destiny depending on how you lived your life. So speaking to him, who was a little bit older, was so refreshing for me. And he and I started dating and really fell for each other very quickly. We were always together after that. We would hang out every night after work. He would always be bussing tables for me and making sure that none of my patrons were being creepy, because there would be like these creepy 35, 40-year-old men that would come in and hit on all the teenage girls. Now, I'd always noticed that he'd been pretty jealous. Like, he didn't like when other guys talked to me, but I, at the time of that age and my brain development, I was like, oh my God, it's so sweet. He just is so concerned for me. So one day, my brother, who is 8 years older than me, so he's 23 at the time, comes home from college. He was getting a master's degree at Baylor University. He talked to my mom, and she told him that I was working at this hookah place. So he decided to come with some friends and his girlfriend at the time to surprise me, come eat at the place I was working at, and, you know, hang out, right? One of the people that was with my brother is a guy named Jimmy. Jimmy is literally like my other brother. I grew up with him. He and my brother have been friends since they were 8 years old. This guy spends holidays with us every year. Him and I are very, very close. They all arrive, and I just see a group of people walk in, and I just hear little Limcat, and I turn and I see Jimmy, and he runs up and gives me a hug. He trolls me around. I, of course, hug my brother and his girlfriend, and I'm like so excited. They surprise me. I see them at the table. Dre is not in there yet. I was like so excited. I couldn't wait for him to meet my brother and, you know, my brother's friends and the people that my brother went to college with. I'm looking for Dre, but I can't find him. He was manning the front and the back of the restaurant and the hookah place. At some point, I'm standing there laughing and chatting with my brother and them and bringing their food and stuff like that. Jimmy goes, little Limco, are you eating? Because you're looking a little too skinny for my liking. And I was wearing my typical short skirt thing and a little cropped black strap. And he pinches my stomach, and then he just starts tickling me, and I'm laughing. And all of a sudden, in the middle of this full-ass busy Saturday night at the hookah place full of teenagers and young adults, we hear something crash. We look over, and I'm over here in the middle with the table. Over here is the kitchen, and near the kitchen is Dre, and he has dropped an entire plate of dishes. And he's staring at me and Jimmy, and he looks absolutely fuming. And I'm like, oh shit. They're like, oh, is that guy okay? I go over there quickly, and I'm like, hey, are you okay? I'm like helping him. And he's like, don't help me. I'm like, fuck, okay. Well, that's my brother over there and his friends. I want you to meet them. And he was like, that guy that touched you doesn't look like your brother, because Jimmy has like blonde hair and blue eyes. I'm like, no, that's like my other brother, Jimmy. And he's like, but he's not your actual brother. I'm like, well, no, but he basically is like my brother. Like, we grew up together. And he was like, I'm not interested. He leaves. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't see him the rest of the shift. And then my brother and Jimmy, they all pay, and then they are heading out. Now, because this was a teenage spot and just an area of Dallas where there needs to be security and someone is going to be always carting these kids, there was always a bouncer out there. So I'm kind of like closing up and everything, and then I hear some commotion outside. Me and Crystal run out there, and we see the bouncer in between Jimmy and Dre, holding them back. And Dre's like, fuck you, man, fuck you, you touched my girl, blah, blah, blah. Jimmy's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I'll fucking kill you, you kid. Like, that's like my sister. And they all break it up. Obviously, Dre works there. And so the bouncer's like, Dre, calm down. I go to Jimmy and John, and John's like grabbing Jimmy and pulls him out of there. And I'm like, I'm so sorry. And John's like, it's okay, we're gonna take him home. They leave. Dre is in the parking lot, like pacing around, like angry, right? Angry, smoking a cigarette. I'm like, what are you doing? He starts crashing out. He just grabs my face like this and like holds it really close against me, like very rough. I was like, get the fuck off of me. How dare you grab me like that? I push him off, and I run back inside, and I go into the storage unit with Crystal, and I'm like crying because he scared me. I'm like, okay, I can't do this. I can't be with him. He really scared me. Crystal's like, okay, don't worry. Like, I'll stay with you until he leaves. And then the bouncer comes in, and he's like, are you okay? I'm like, can you just let me know when Dre leaves? He's like, yeah, don't worry. He's like, I'm gonna send him home. Now, my Middle Eastern daddies at the hookah spot do not play with this. They immediately fired him, and they were like, he can't ever come back here again. I am like mourning the loss of this relationship, but he ends up showing up days in a row, trying to talk to me outside of the restaurant. And I'm obviously not talking to him. I'm done with his ass. And he gets kicked out several times from the hookah place. And they tell him that if he keeps showing up, that they're gonna fucking make him disappear. I go home. I'm living at my mom's, obviously. Cut to one night, I am heading home after a long shift, and I go to my mom's house, and my mom lives in Plano. I'm heading to sleep. The way that my room is set up is my room faces the backyard. Now, my room is here. There's a little roof here that you can climb out the window and sneak down. There's the part of the roof here you can hop on, and then you can climb down the fence and into the backyard or onto the driveway. This was a way that I snuck boys into my room all the time, and also I snuck out. And I had snuck Dre into my room a couple times before, but I obviously had him blocked on everything. I'm sleeping all cozy in my bed, in my little teenage bed with the baby blue walls and the wispy fairy core in there. And unfortunately, I can sleep like the dead, y'all. I'm woken up after peaceful sleep, dreaming of fairies and butterflies. I feel someone brushing my arm. And I kind of open, and I just see a body that's backlit. And I'm so sorry about this sound. There's some fuck ass out here with their horn that's just going off. I don't know. I see a dark figure. I'm like, who the fuck is in my room? At first I'm like, is it John? But no, wait, that's not him. I turn the light next to me, and it's Dre. And his eyes are bloodshot. He looks high as hell, and he's crying. And he's like, baby, I'm so sorry. Please, you have to forgive me. Like, I can't live without you. Oh my God. I see that the window next to me is open. Dude, you can't be in here. My mother's asleep downstairs. You need to leave. He's like, please just talk to me. Just give me a chance. I love you so much. I'm like, just calm down, Dre. And he's like, because you want to know what? You're so ungrateful because this is how much I love you. He's wearing a hoodie, a zip up hoodie over like the striped shirt and baggy pants. He takes his hoodie off, and on his arm, scratched and bleeding, is my name, Cat. I'm like, oh my God. And he was like, I scarred myself, so now you'll always be with me. Bro, no. I scream. Now, unfortunately for him, my brother was not home, because my brother probably would have been a lot better to deal with than my Filipino mother, because my mom came running up with her baseball bat and just starts swinging on the dude. He runs out my door, runs down the stairs, runs out the front door, and literally ran down the street. And my mom chased him for like, I want to say, a block and a half. Now, after that, we did think that I was gonna have to get a restraining order, but he did end up leaving me alone and disappearing after that. Yes, y'all, the manic Tumblr boy, he can end up being cray-cray.
How I found out my wife was cheating on me, part 1. I'm here to address the questions, okay? I guess I should say, I'm really grateful for everything I got. Thanks for all the love and the support. But some of you guys, wee bit sassy with me. I know it sounds crazy. You could see it in my face as I'm telling the story that I'm like, this sounds fucking ridiculous, but it's what happened. It's the truth. I don't know what to tell you. I do have my notes here. I'm looking down, that's what I'm looking at, but it's a lot to fucking remember, and I was traumatized, so. Everyone's asking me,
Lindsay, how did you let this go on for so long? Didn't you know? Didn't you think anything?
yeah, I did, but I was trying to be a good supportive wife. First things first, we were together like 6 years. This is not like a Utah Mormon, no offense to the Utah people. And we enjoyed doing a lot of things together. Like, spoiler alert, that stopped. We enjoyed like going to football games together, concerts, traveling. Like, there were things that we enjoyed doing as a couple. Good things outweighed the bad things. Things were good enough. You know, after we got married, that's when shit kind of started going downhill. She started going to raves and concerts, and that's when she met up with, we'll call her Elmer, for the first time. They met on Twitter, and Elmer was going to this rave that my ex-wife was going to, and they met in person at this rave, and that's what spurred their friendship. And Elmer lives like 3-ish hours away, so my ex-wife would meet her at her house. Mind you, this woman would not even like pick me up for dinner if it was out of the way. So she struggled with like mental health and feeling like she had a community, and she was so happy. Like, she told me that she really found people that she fit in with and like felt really good and like blah 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 blah. So I didn't want to be like mean wife, like you better get home, because that's not how I am. So I let it go on for so long because I thought that I was being a good supportive wife and was letting her like express herself and explore, you know, whatever new parts of her personality. I don't fucking know. I did like always think like it's really weird that you're hanging out with Elmer all the time, because you don't hang out with any of your other friends all the time. You don't text any of your other friends all the time. You don't FaceTime them all the time. You don't trips with them to go to shows and go fucking camping together all the time. But I guess because you and Elmer have so much in common, I don't know. And no, I wasn't invited to I was not invited to the shows, okay? I was not invited to go on the trips because I'm not fun, I guess. I don't know. She would call me, which looking back now, this is so fucked up. She would call me Lindsay, kill the vibe, insert my last name, which I don't think that's true. I'm a Sagittarius and I'm fine. I feel like people like for me to be around, but not my wife. So no, I wasn't invited. It was her thing that she was like building her own community and like doing things outside the relationship because she felt like that was important. I felt like I from a coma and was like, what the fuck am I doing? I did, however, find out after the fact. So after I filed for divorce, she confessed to me that she had an emotional affair, emotional connection, romantic feelings for a different girl while I was studying for the bar. Wah, wah. Yep. While I was nose in the books, trying to secure the bag, trying to secure our future, she was having feelings for someone else because I apparently was not giving her enough attention. And if you study for the bar, you know how fucking terrible that is. Definitely was manipulated. Yeah, so, yeah. And now I'm bashful. I think that kind of like lays the background for part 1. I will do part 2 and talk more about like the actual affair and like how I found out and what I found out, because this shit is fucking crazy. So that's it for part 1. Follow me if you want to see part 2. And like, subscribe, and part 2 will be coming soon. If you guys don't ghost me. If you ghost me, then I'll be feeling shame. Shame. My ex-wife told her mistress to dress more masked around me so that I wouldn't suspect that they were lesbians. Part 2, who the hell did I marry? This is gonna be a juicier one. If you didn't watch my other videos, go watch them because they're relevant and important. How I found out. After I filed for divorce, I noticed that Elmer and my ex-wife were not mutuals on Instagram anymore. My spidey senses were tingling, okay? What would have happened that, like, they went out of their way to unfollow each other? But Elmer still followed me because we were friends, like, we were friendly. This is crazy. She still followed me, but was not following my ex-wife. And obviously when the divorce happened, a lot of people unfollowed me, and no shade. The fact that she unfollowed my ex-wife, but still followed me, meant that for whatever reason, she was holding me in higher regard than my ex-wife. The world revolves around Lindsay, which it does. So that was, like, my girl math. This is kind of shady, but I slid right in, okay? I slid into her DMs and was like, hey, girl. I said, this is so nosy of me, but I noticed that you and my ex-wife aren't mutuals anymore. Like, what happened? Did you hear I filed for divorce? And she responded and was like, hey, girl, I did hear that. Like, happy for you. You deserve so much better. I always told her that she needed to treat you better, and you deserve so much better. Basically telling me that she was giving my ex-wife advice on how to be a better wife. Crazy. And then I was like, by the way, girl, so funny, but I actually always thought maybe there was something going on between the two of you. Like, I don't know. It seemed like my ex-wife always wanted to hang out with you. This is when I found out. She said, yeah, girl, I would rather talk about that in person or on the phone. I was like, oh shit. And I said, okay, I'm free right now. Call me. Talked on the phone for an hour and a half. I put on my lawyer hat and I was like, I'm not mad at you. I just want to know what happened. Let her just tell me everything. That's shady on my part, and I'll own that. But I needed to know. Okay, people need to know. And despite the fact that she would text me and ask me if I wanted a bagel for all the people that asked me to say it again, on the way home from one of their weekends together. And when she texted me at 2:27 in the morning to let me know that they were home safe at their hotel on multiple occasions, I was shocked. It was crazy. It was crazy information. She told me everything, that they were having an affair for the entire time we were married, essentially. Supposedly was initiated by my ex-wife. Claims that she was manipulated and love bombed due to her BPD. I don't know, not a doctor. Elmer didn't know what the plan was. I asked him, I said, what was your plan? Okay, where are we going here? There was no plan. There was no plan. They were just in love. They were fucking. No plan. Okay, no plan. And she continued to tell me, like, girl, you deserve so much better, girl. I tried to tell your ex-wife, well, she was cheating on you with me, that you deserve so much better. She needed to be home more. Girl, fucking crazy. Okay, so what I know about the things that happened while the affair was going on. Let me remind you, this girl came to my Super Bowl party, sat on my couch, pictures together, actually, while she was fucking my wife. Yeah. My ex-wife would tell her to dress more mask because my ex-wife was more mask and was more into femmes. Thought that I would be less sus if Elmer presented mask around me. He got me there, girl. I did take that into account. Elmer lived with her mother and her family, and my ex-wife would drive her ass down there, fucking in their mom's house. Mom knew, friends knew. In fact, Elmer was upset that she wasn't introduced to our friends as a couple, and I quote, was just a random girl to everyone. And I said, yeah, girl, because we were married. She had a whole wife. That's why you were just a random girl to everyone. Your friends and your mom all suck because they're all letting this happen, which is crazy. Elmer is also a really good person because when my ex-wife asked her to sleep in our bed, Elmer told her that was too disrespectful and she couldn't do that. So thank God, Elmer. Elmer also supposedly posted things on her Instagram story that she thought would trigger me telepathically into thinking that they were having an affair, so that I would ask her if they were having an affair. She didn't want to tell me until I asked, and then I deserved to know. But prior to, she wanted me to and figure it out. And although your song lyrics on your Instagram story didn't really put it together for me, I figured it out in other ways, so thank you for that, thank you for that. That's how I found out my ex-wife was cheating on me for an entire year. Over a year. And now they both live with their parents. Have fun fucking in your parents' house. You guys want, I can do part 3, talking about how I confronted my wife via the Coldplay CEO meme. That's part 2. Come back for part 3. I confronted my ex-wife for having an affair on me via the Coldplay CEO meme. Who the fuck did I marry? Part 3. This will be the final part of this main series, but I can definitely do more videos answering other questions, and I already have a few planned. Have any questions? Drop them below. I will gladly answer them. So after Elmer told me everything, I kept my chill and kept all the information in my back pocket. Kind of evil, but needed to be done. Divorce was ongoing. I didn't want to lash out on anyone because I didn't want to get lawyers involved and I didn't want to drag things out. I just wanted my divorce to be finalized. So we're going smoothly and my ex-wife was being cooperative. So I was like, I'm not gonna bring this up. She really made me a big person, okay?
Because that was really fucking hard to do. People can do hard
this
things.
Whole time, I still followed Elmer on Instagram. She thought we were cool. I didn't really go out of my way to talk to her after she told me everything, but I didn't go out of my way to unfollow her either. The Coldplay CEO affair meme happened, and I was like, this seems like a great opportunity to be kind of savage and hilarious. So what started it all was that Elmer posted on her Instagram story using the meme something in relation to like football.
Hold on.
It said something about Kansas City and the refs. Now hold on. I responded and said, no, that's actually you and my ex-wife, haha. And she responded and was like,
Girl, if what I post triggers you, you don't have to follow me. I'm not offended if you want to unfollow me. Blah, 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 blah.
And I was like, okay. And then I was scrolling, and I saw a meme of Chris Martin that said, if I sent you this, just know you've been caught in 4K or something like that. Seems perfect. Like, this is so funny. I took the CEO meme, I put ex-wife Elmer.
What I needed.
And I sent that to my ex-wife along with the if you're seeing this, you've been caught meme. And that was it. She never responded, never apologized, still has not apologized, said anything, literally nothing, crickets, not a single word. She's not a single word. That's it. Never heard from her again. Gone like the wind. Obviously, I don't talk to Elmer, and we're not mutuals on Instagram anymore or any social media. And I'm sure both of them have seen these videos. So if you're watching this, you guys both suck. That's pretty much the main story. So let me know what you guys want to know. Drop your questions. Carla's a bitch, I guess. Thanks for all the interest and love. And yeah, let me know what you guys want to know.
Storytime part 1, when I first linked up with my first rapper out of many. Let me stop, but yeah. I will not say his real name, but I'll just call him BGL. If y'all can piece together who BGL is, cool. But I'm not gonna, say his name. So yeah, back in 2020, BGL has stumbled across my page. I have been bumping his music or the BG group since high school. If you know who the BG group is, then you know. And I'll just give y'all a little clue. He's from the D, but he lived in LA. So anyways, he stumbled across my page. We ended up, messaging back and forth. He wanted me to come to LA, and I was low-key interested. But it was never on no groupie shit. It was more so like, I fuck with your music type vibe, not like, you feel me? So fast forward, I get on the plane. Mind y'all, this is my first time ever flying to LA. I was 18 years old. I was nervous as a bitch, and I went dolo. So yeah, I'm nervous. of course, I went dolo or whatever. So fast forward to when I get to LA, I land in LAX. I got a car sent to me to go to the studio. So we driving on the way to the studio. Like I had like butterflies. I'm nervous as shit, man. I'm like, oh shit, like what? Anyways, I get to the studio. I'll insert the clips. Purple dress with butterflies on it. It was so cute, and I had my hair in a little bun. So when I pulled up to the stool, I instantly was a little nervous because that shit was packed with Pyru niggas, hood niggas, niggas with chains. It was just a lot of niggas in there. Then it was a cameraman recording. Like it was just a lot going on. So we meet in real life. We introduce ourselves, even though we did that in the text messages. But I'm asking him what's his government name, not his street name, not his rap name. He tell me. He asked me my age. I tell him my age, and we just have conversations. Then I'm talking to the homies a little bit, and they're like asking me where I'm from. And they low key on my body. Like everybody was low key on my body. So we drinking. We at the Paramount. Then after that, we got some food, and then I got in this car. It had like stars on the ceiling, and we went back to the hills. So while I'm in the car, I'm just fascinated by LA. Like that shit really looked like GTA. Like I used to play GTA back when I was a kid. So just playing the video game, always wanting to be in LA and always wanting to go to LA, and it actually looked the same. I'm fascinated by the shit. Then I'm with this rapper that I've been, bumping since high school. Everybody was on his dick. Everybody, you feel me? I'm just like, yo, lit. Like, you feel me? So yeah, we get east, then we go back to the hills. As we're driving to the hills, it's this long, curvy road, like going up a cliff. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this shit is on some GTA shit. I'm really in the hills, bitch. So we go to the spot he was staying at. And when we get there, he started recording. He was on some music shit. So that was fine with me because I always wanted to know how he recorded. And I was able to watch his process, which I have footage of all that too. So the engineer, he's doing his thing. And then, they're recording. And he's recording for a long, long time. So the engineer and him asked me to roll one for them. So I ended up rolling a J for them. At first I was nervous, but I pearl shit. But they have put me on the spot, and I'm just like, me roll a J, like what? So after he finished recording, it was time for night time because he was doing that shit like all night. And it was already late when I got there. Alright, fast forward to the juicy part. So, of course he wanted to hunch. And he wanted to hunch raw, but I was not going. I don't know you like that. I don't care how much money you got, how many BMs, how much motion. Like, you was not about to crack me raw. I'm not gonna really speak too much on why we didn't hunch, but just know something was micro. And I fuck with him. He my homie. Like, he the homie for real. So I'm not about to talk about the homie like that. But since something was micro, we ended up, just chilling in the bed. I fall asleep, and he ends up, cuddling me. And honestly, I was encouraging him to call some other bitches so they can get it on and popping. Like, again, I'm gang. I'm chilling. Like, I'm not really on all that. So. But they ended up not coming, so yeah, we fell asleep, and next day. So his rap life and his other life was really busy. So he had a lot to do that day, but that was the day of the house party, and I actually was going to go back home because I had stuff to do back where I lived at, but he ended up wanting me to stay, so I extended my stay. The day of the house party, everybody coming over, the house is packed. The homies, the Pyrus, whatever, they came over. So yeah, the homies, the Pyrus, everybody over there. And they're supposed to take me to get food, but they're talking about going to Bompton, and I'm like, I want to go to Bompton, and they're looking at me crazy like, bitch, you want to go to Bompton? And I just, so they ended up taking me to Bompton. We get food, then we go to Bompton. That's when I meet the homies or whatever. And that experience was low-key lit. Like, I'm not gonna lie. From the outside looking in, I never been to California, and I always heard about Bompton for real. So I was thinking that it was like scary and low-key, rah, but it was chill and mellow. I feel like it's just depending on who you know and who you're around and who you is for real. But come back for part 2.
My neighbors got real fucking messy last night, and I am now a witness in the investigation, so I feel like I can speak on this. The cops now have my name, number, and birthday, so I'm a part of the situation. This is what happened last night around 7:30, okay? Me and my husband are trying to have a wholesome night in. I'm making a giant paper mache button, as one does. We are watching Fargo season 3. We just had chicken shish kebabs for dinner, okay? Very low key. When all of a sudden I hear this aggressive banging noise. So I look at my husband and go, check it out. What's going on? Because my hands are full of the button. He goes, and all he says is, oh shit. He's looking out the window. He goes, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And I'm like, oh my God, tell me what's happening. Okay, he finally goes, someone's beating the shit out of our neighbor, her boyfriend's vehicle, okay? And so I get up too late. She's already sped away. And now it doesn't take a investigator to know why a woman would beat the shit out of a man's car with hatred and vengeance in her eyes, okay? Do the math. So then my husband goes, do we call the cops? And I go, baby boy, we live in the hood. We are no snitches, okay? We are not calling the cops. This is an internal investigation. We bought a house, Bay Area, California, a little bit in the ghetto. I'm not going to tell you what town, but you guys can guess, okay? You don't call the cops right away. You go to the neighbor's house, and I want to let homegirl know what just happened, okay? We knock on the door. He answers. So then my husband goes, hey, bro, I don't know what's going on, but a girl just beat the shit out of your car, okay? And then we take our asses back home, okay? And then I'm out there watching, window open, okay? And my neighbor, she comes out and goes, what happened? And he goes, I don't know. And she goes, what happened? Like, she knows. She knows. And he's not saying. So then she goes, I'm gonna go talk to the neighbor. I open the door, and I'm like, hey, this is what happened. This is what she looked like. This is what she drove. And I just give her the information because that's her business. She needs to know that, okay? They go out, they're fighting, they back up their car so they're not right in front of our window anymore. Whatever, they don't want an audience. I get it. And they're just like hanging out in their car, okay? And my husband's like, oh, that was crazy. Me feeling like this isn't over. Because why did my neighbor take out her earrings and put her hair in a bun? So this is not over. So I'm watching, okay? I'm watching Fargo, but I'm also watching what's going on outside. When all of a sudden, the same car, an hour later, pulls up hot, okay? And these two girls get out of the car. And I'm thinking one of them was the original bat hitter, okay, of the car. And so they're all fighting. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Okay, and then one of the girls pulls out a knife. And I really can't see too much because there's like a tree in my way and it's getting darker, right? But then she starts saying, I'm gonna pop you. I'm gonna pop you. Everyone knows what I'm gonna pop you means. It's not a knife. They're not going to use a knife to pop you. They're going to use something else. So that's when, like, remember when I said I'm no snitch? Okay, well, now we have a gun and I have a baby. So, like, we're actually going to call the police. Because then a shot does ring out. Okay. And then my neighbor goes, she shot me. So I'm thinking she's bleeding out. Okay. So I'm on the phone, 911. We call 911. And then they speed away. The people in the white car get back in, and they speed away. And my neighbor's like running, and she's like, call 911. And I want to be like, girl, I got you. I already did, but I don't say anything because I don't want to be involved that much. Okay, this part 2 is going to be next. I'm going to post it right after this. Okay, part 2 of the messy neighbors. So after the pew-pew was shot, okay, the neighbors run back to their house. They've also called 911 from what I'm listening to. And the police are here, like, within an instant, which is shocking to me because where I live, the police aren't the best at, like, responding. Like, one time I called 911 and it went to voicemail. So it's like, whoa, I was shocked that they got here. And I'm not leaving my home. I'm not going outside. I'm minding my business from the window safely, okay? And the cops are getting the statement and, you know, I don't want to put their business out there, but, like, homeboy was maybe seeing her, you know, for a while now, and he was playing both of these girls, okay? From what I could eavesdrop from. And so they have a name, first and last name, they have an address, they have a phone number, they know what the vehicle is, they're going to be looking for it, okay? They can't find any shell casings from the shot, so I don't know what that means, but they couldn't find it. And so then the cops leave again. And my husband's like, oh, glad that's over. Baby boy, that's not over, okay? I tell him, like, something's a brewing still. He goes to bed. Okay, I stay up working on the button. When, like, around, I think it was like 10 o'clock at night, I see a car driving down the road without any lights on. Not good. And then I hear 5 gunshots in a row. I hit the deck, people. I'm not getting shot. I'm a new mother. I can't be shot today. Okay, and then I'm on the phone, on the ground, calling 911, like, shots fired. They get here in an instant. It's chaos in my streets. The neighbors are screaming. Then me and my husband do go outside because my car is parked right next to this guy's car. He moved his car back next to my car. And so I'm like, I just got this car. Please, no bullet holes in the car, please. Okay, so we go out there. They shot up his car and their other car. Luckily, homegirl had good aim, okay? Because she did not shoot my car, which I appreciate that. She was really dedicated to fucking up his life, not my life, okay? And so we move our car, we back up, and the police are like, can we get some statements? And I'm like, I don't want to be involved. But, like, yes, I saw everything. This is what I know. And, like, I feel bad for my neighbor. She's a very nice girl. This guy just kind of sucks. Like, what are you doing? So then all the neighbors out, we're chatting away. We're like, what's going on? My baby's still asleep, thank God. But yeah, that's what happened. And then, like, so now the cops are trying to find her, and I guess, like, Instagram's going crazy. I guess Instagram knows the whole situation. It's wild, okay? And, like, again, I was just trying to make this paper mache button And that all went down. That's a crazy night for me. Usually my street is quiet. Quiet on the street, quiet on the creek. But tonight, or last night, it got wild. And like, it better be done. And now my grandma's coming over today, and I'm gonna have to explain why there's shards of glass everywhere. Shards of glass. I gotta move. I think I have to move. It's getting too crazy out here. And this is why not everyone should have a gun. This is a prime example why everyone should not have a gun.
I'm gonna tell you for free some tea I got in the girls' bathroom at the bar last weekend. So I walk into the bathroom and this girl is hysterically crying and she has 3 friends around her. And she's obviously like a bride and they're at the bachelorette party. She's got like a sash on and they're in coordinated outfits. And so I walk in and me being obviously the nosiest person in the world, I'm like, oh my God, is everything okay? And she goes, actually, no. And I'm like, oh my God. And she goes, I just found out that one of my bridesmaids has been hooking up with my future husband. My jaw hits the ground. I'm like, oh my God, how did you find out? She goes, so apparently her and this girl had the same phone case. And when they left dinner, she accidentally took the friend's phone, put it in her purse. And when they got to the bar, she took out the phone and there was a text from the future husband being like, I miss you so much. I wish I was with you, blah, blah, blah. So she confronts the friend. The friend starts breaking down crying, confesses to everything. And she goes to me, you want to know the most fucked up part? I'm like, yeah. She goes, they're literally second cousins. Now, I am not usually rendered speechless. I have always got something to say. I looked at this girl for 5 minutes straight, like, and by the looks that the 3 girls were passing who were like consoling her, the 3 other bridesmaids, those girls knew. They had the most guilty looks on their faces. So to that bride, I hope you are not getting married to this man this weekend. I hope, or whatever weekend your wedding is, and I hope that you ditch all of those people and you run far away and you never speak to them again. And I hope you're doing well.
You know when you hear about family drama and you think it can't possibly be that bad? I think of this story of working a wedding when I found out it really was that bad. So there was this wedding I was working not too long ago, and everything about this wedding seemed like it was pretty perfect. It was a big private estate, about 150 guests. Everyone seemed to get along pretty well. Smiling, bride seemed like she was okay. Almost a little too okay and too calm, if you know what I mean. And that's when it all took a turn. I was kind of behind the scenes at this point, getting everything ready. And that's when the bride all of a sudden burst into the bridal suite. She told me, if someone comes in here asking about my wedding dress and where it is, tell them that you don't know. I kind of awkwardly laughed because I couldn't tell if she was joking or really what she was talking about. But as soon as I did that, I looked at her face and she was completely serious. And all of a sudden she grabs her wedding dress, grabs this black garment bag, stuffs it into there, looks at me and asks me if I can help her hide it in this empty storage closet down the hall. And I agreed because she seemed pretty upset at this point. And so I finally asked her, why? What's going on? So she finally took a deep breath and looked at me and said, because if she finds it before I put it on, she'll ruin it. I assumed maybe she meant like a jealous bridesmaid or an ex that was somehow going to be at the wedding, but no. She shook her head and looked at me and told me her future mother-in-law. Apparently, for months, this woman had been obsessed with getting to see the dress. She had demanded photos, tried to go to her alterations fitting, even at one point called the bridal boutique pretending to be her to see if she could get details about the dress. But the bride wanted to keep it a surprise from everyone, and I guess the future mother-in-law just took that personally. So the bride had said that she had been making weird comments all week about how you'll regret keeping secrets from your family, and I always get what I want. At that point, I figured she was maybe just overbearing and really excited, until not too long after, the groom's mother had walked into the bridal suite, just smiled, looking around, and of course, didn't see any dress, and asked me, where is it? And I remembered what the bride had asked of me, so I just said that I hadn't seen it. And the mother-in-law instantly started opening up every cabinet, every closet, looking high and low for it. And of course, as she couldn't find it, she finally stopped, looked me dead in the eye and said, that's okay, I'll find it. Before she even walked out, I texted the wedding planner letting her know what had happened. And not even 5 minutes later, I heard someone screaming from down the hallway. And as soon as I walked out, I knew exactly why the bride had did what she did. Follow for part 2, because what this mother-in-law did still keeps me up at night to this day. So I heard screaming from down the hallway, and as soon as I walked out, everyone was just staring. The black garment bag that the dress was hidden in was on the floor. The door to the storage closet was wide open, and I kid you not, my stomach dropped. The bride had gotten wind of it, so she came running down the hallway in her robe, and as soon as she saw the garment bag, everyone in the hallway completely went silent. Thankfully, the dress was still there, but someone had clearly taken a pair of scissors to the garment bag and cut just enough to open it, but pretty close to the dress to where, had they been just a little bit deeper, they would have cut a huge slit right in the front. And the bride just stood there shaking. No one had seen who had opened it. No one had seen who had taken the scissors. So the wedding planner instantly scooped it up, put it in a locked closet, and literally had a guard standing outside of that closet for the remainder of the time before the ceremony. And to be honest, I kind of thought that was going to be the end of it. But about 30 minutes before the ceremony, I walked past the groom's den and immediately heard yelling. As I walked by, I saw that the groom had just gotten off of his phone and he looked completely devastated. He said that his mother had just called him. He said that his mother said that she had proof that the bride was hiding something from the family and demanded that he cancel the wedding and call everything off right then and there. And when the groom had asked her what she was even talking about, she then sent him a photo. The photo of the bride's dress, the one that she had not been allowed to see. And so it meant that whoever had went in that storage room wasn't just snooping around, but instead taking photos and sending them to the mother-in-law. But when the groom got a closer look at the photo and zoomed in, you could just barely see a reflection in the mirror, and zoomed in on the shoes, and a catering staff that was standing right near us immediately recognized the shoes. And sure enough, they belonged to the mother-in-law. So when we went to go and try and find her, we found her sitting alone in her car just minutes before the ceremony. And she admitted to going snooping for the dress and said that she deserved to see it first before the actual ceremony. She denied damaging the garment bag, but of course couldn't explain her way out of the photo. And so the groom made the hardest decision that he probably had to make that entire day, and said that his mom was no longer allowed back on the property for the rest of the evening. Unfortunately, this whole drama led us to start the ceremony almost 30 minutes late, but most of the guests never asked any questions and no one really ever knew why. And the bride was able to still walk down the aisle with her beautiful dress untouched, just as she had imagined. But the mother-in-law lost her place in all of it. And to this day, when someone tells me that they're concerned about their family drama that's going to happen at the wedding, I immediately think of this time and wonder how bad things are really going to get.
Last night, I got posted on a Facebook page called Bad Drivers of Laredo, and I don't care what anybody has to say. I'm just telling my side of the story, which I understand that it's wrong, but this is my reasoning why I did it. So I got posted on the Facebook page last night. We were coming back in from out of town, and I had my 2-year-old son in the front seat with me. I understand why people are upset. When I see that, I am also upset, but I don't do it just because they want to get out. I am not the type of person who allows my kids to like roam around the car without a seatbelt. They're always strapped in properly too, not just the top. They're strapped top and bottom, like whatever. Yesterday, actually 2 days ago, we were at a family reunion, and my tia lives out in like the countryside, so there's a bunch of bugs. And that night when we got back to the condo, I noticed that his leg was swollen and a little hot. This was 2 nights ago, so not last night, the night before. And I was like, okay, well, something bit him. My kids are very sensitive to bug bites, so I was like, all right, maybe it was a mosquito. The next day, which was yesterday, which is the day I got posted, he was in a awful mood like no other ever. Like, he has never been this bad ever before. He was screaming since the moment he woke up to the moment we took him to the ER when we got to Laredo, which was shortly after that video was taken. We got down at a restaurant in San Antonio, Taco Palenque, and he was screaming for the first 5-6 minutes, screaming. He was that kid at the restaurant, which he never is. I had to take him outside into my car where I started crying. I don't want to cry right now, but yesterday was so freaking hard, guys. I was texting my sister. I have a video, maybe I'll insert it, of me crying while he's playing. He finally had calmed down, and I was emotional because I was trying so hard to keep my patience with him, because I knew that something was wrong, because he never acts like that. So I was in the car with him waiting while everybody else was eating inside, and on the road he fell asleep. He was asleep. He woke up right before we were getting to our house a few blocks away, which is where the video was taken. He woke up screaming, like if he had the worst dream ever, or if he was like in excruciating pain, and he was pointing at his leg. I looked at his leg. It was so swollen. I touched it and it was burning hot. So my instinct was, I was just scared, and I pulled him out of the car seat and I brought him up front with me. I was looking at his leg, as you can see in the video. I'm looking down. I was looking at his leg and his ankle. Both, he had 2 bites on his leg and his ankle, and they were, I don't think I took a picture of his actual leg, but it was double the size of the other one. It was super tight. It was very hot. His ankle was ginormous. So I thought something maybe poisonous had bit him. Every time I would touch his leg, he would say, ouch, ouch. He couldn't even walk on it. So anyways, my point is, we got home. My younger daughter, my baby, she was hungry. We fed her. My husband took my son to the ER, and they said it was a bug bite. They checked if he had circulation going down. He did, so they weren't worried. Not that any of this matters. I understand that no kid should be without a seatbelt. I am totally against that as well. But in that moment, my child was in excruciating pain, and I, as a mother, was scared. There was no way we can pull out of where we were. We were at that light, and there was 2 cars on each side of us. I don't know if these people in front of me are laughing at me, but anyways, we were in the middle lane. So we were in, I believe we were like the first ones in line. So like we couldn't pull over anywhere. We couldn't go anywhere. And yes, I pulled my son out. Could I have waited longer? Yeah, but I was scared. I was scared for my child. I didn't know what was going on. I panicked and I got him out. So I'm not trying to defend myself, or I'm not trying to, like, I don't care what that person said. But I think it's really funny that this person was recording me while they were driving, because they were the driver recording, and they were still driving. So you want to talk about safety, honey? You're recording and driving. Secondly, I think it's even more funny that these people are fucking loser cowards, that they post anonymously. Like, grow some balls. If you're gonna post about people and record them, why are you posting anonymously? You're scared? Are you embarrassed? Thirdly, if you were that concerned and calling me a dumbass on social media, why didn't you were right next to me, brother or sister? Why didn't you roll down your window and say something? Because you're a coward. You're a loser. And there's somebody who was like, they noticed that it was me, I guess, and they were like, isn't that the wannabe influencer? Like, girl, you're such a freaking loser as well. And you posted anonymously too. Like, would you say that to my face? If you're watching this, comment down below and say it to my face, because I doubt you will. Because you're a loser and you're a hater and you're jealous. But anyways, yeah, guys, keep your kids safe. Keep them in their car seats. I am totally for car seats. I don't ever let my kids be without one. Yesterday was one of the exceptions that, you know, it just happened. Life happens. Moms make mistakes. Parents make mistakes. We were very close to home. I was scared. Didn't know what was happening to him. His leg freaked me out. I have the paper. I don't know if my husband got it down, but I have the discharge paper somewhere. I hope he didn't throw it. Maybe it's at the house, but maybe I'll insert it to show you that my husband took him to the ER yesterday. And yeah. Yes, girl. Anonymous. Everybody commenting is anonymous. Fake usernames. Typical scaredy cats, cowards. And I'm actually beefing with the person on their post because I got all day, honey. And they're like, I called them a loser because they're fucking losers. And they're like, oh, funny how whatever. You all can go see for yourself. And I was like, whatever, I'm done arguing with you. I know the type of mother I am. I hope your day sucks. And they're like, oh my god, you would wish that on people as an influencer? Bitch, you think I give a fuck? People who know me, don't get me started, okay? If you don't give a damn, I don't give a fuck. Don't start no shit. It won't be no shit. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not gonna like hide who I am or not speak up or not defend myself or not say what I want to fucking say just because I have followers on here. Like, I don't give a fuck, sweetheart. Have an awful day. You fucking suck. You're a loser for recording people and judging them for making mistakes and just trying to be a fucking parent and take care of their child while also making a mistake. It happens, okay? It happens, and you're a fucking loser. I stand by that, and I hope you have an awful day. Not you, lovely sweetheart. I'm talking to the person who made the post about me.
We're gonna do a little story time about how I was literally discriminated against today for being a felon. I know that sounds crazy, but just listen. The only other time this has happened to me was when I was hired at that dentist office that I told you guys the story about, and within a week they fired me once they found my TikTok and found out that I was a felon. But anyways, listen. So my doctor referred me to see a psychiatrist because I'm a little fucking cuckoo. It's not a secret. So I finally got the messages from this psychiatric place to do like an evaluation, basically, just to kind of figure out what's going on. So I called them to schedule my appointment today, and I'm on the phone and they're asking all the basics, like, do you want to harm yourself or anyone else? Are you taking any medication? Yada, yada. And then they go on to ask me, do you have a forcible felony? And I've never heard it worded this way, so I said, I'm sorry, what do you mean by that? And she was like a violent felony. And I was like, sorry, good fish. Yes, I do. So I literally was just straight up like, I guess, yes, my felony is considered violent. Like, I'm armed robbery, you know what I mean? And she was like, okay, kind of changes things. And I was like, okay. Anywho's it, she goes on to say, you will not be allowed to come in person to our office. Like, you have to do everything telehealth or on a screen. What? I'm sorry, do you think I'm just gonna... What do you think's gonna happen? And I almost sat there and explained myself to this front desk reception girl, okay? She sounded like she could be my age or younger. And I literally was like, excuse me? Like, you're telling me that I'm not allowed to step foot into your office? And she was like, yes, that is our policy. What? So I was like, I basically hung up and I was like, I don't want to see you guys. I want nothing to do with your establishment, if you will. I will call my doctor and get a different referral. Like, that's never in my life. People who have been incarcerated need mental health help more than anyone, if you will, I was so taken aback. Like, I had to take a moment to process what I had just heard. So again, this is Elite DNA Behavioral Health place, whoever the fuck they are. So has this ever happened to anyone else? I need to know. I just feel like that's discrimination, Mind you, I almost went to explain to this girl, like, hey, this happened when I was 19, whatever. But I was like, I'm not even gonna explain myself. I don't want anything to do with a place where I already feel judged before you guys even know anything about me. Like, hey, I have PTSD and a part of that comes from me when I was in prison. Anyways.
My stepmom is dying. We've had a really crazy relationship, honestly. When I was 15, she would explain to me why it was my mom's fault that my dad cheated 40 times. She was just never warm, never affectionate. She was really kind to my brother and just always treated me like the redheaded stepchild. I still showed her love because that's how I am. And I just love family. I love having a big family. So I would always try to make her love me. Didn't work. Anytime we were doing a family dinner, when people would pass me the food, she'd go, oh, no, Barry doesn't need that because I'm fat. That's what she was saying, because I'm fat. So there's that. And then when my dad was dying, literally in hospice, about to go any second, we were rushing to the hospital. We had gone home to shower and come right back. And she picked a fight again about my mom. I was like, well, you guys had really different relationships. Your relationship with my dad was really special and his relationship with my mom was completely different. And she was like, well, your mom was a horrible wife. Obviously, he cheated on her because she was just not giving him what he needed sexually. And I was like, can we please stop? Can we stop? This is making me really uncomfortable and my dad's dying. I would like to not have this conversation. And she just kept going and going and going until I finally snapped. And I was like, you are a monster. You're a monster. What are you doing? And then that was held over me for the rest of time. She hated me because for some reason she saw me as competition with my dad, even though he didn't really care for me that much either. So not really sure what the competition was, but I love my dad and he loved me. He just wasn't great at showing it. And so now she's dying, and I'm not really sure how to feel. I think I'm sad because it's the end of an era, and it's also the last piece of my dad that we have. But at the same time, she doesn't like me. I forgot to add that she recently accused me of lying about using fentanyl, something I've never used in my life. And she swears that I told her that I did. She said, were you lying then or are you lying now? Because you definitely told me that. And honestly, I don't think I want to keep you in the will if you're going to spend all the money on drugs. So my brother went to visit her and she was happy about it. She was thrilled. She was very excited to see him. And then he said, do you want Barry to come visit you? She's already in Florida. She said, no, I don't want her here. She's too much. You know how Barry can be. She's just too much. Meanwhile, she has her nieces, her nephews, her step-grandkids, her nieces and nephews' kids. They're all there. Chaotic. But I'm too much. It is what it is, I guess. Have a great day.
Okay, so yesterday I take my nephew to go get his physical, and my sister made sure my name was all on all the paperwork to make sure that I was authorized to bring him, as she is the primary parent, blah blah blah. So I get there, I'm filling out all his paperwork. We get to the back, we get to talking. The doctor gets to asking questions. I found out some new information, and I'm like, okay. And I wasn't going to address it when the doctor was in the room, but when they step out the room or whatever, of course they're asking the typical, daily life kind of questions. How's your summer going? How do you spend your time? They talk about the mental health, your hobbies, blah, blah, blah. A mental health professional, she was a licensed therapist. She came in asking him all the mental health questions, and I've been wanting nephew to get into therapy for years and years and years. My sister never signed him up. She never followed through, blah, blah, blah. Okay. She said she could send a referral over to the behavioral health clinic to get him a, therapist, a case manager. I'm looking at my nephew's facial expressions, body language. He doesn't like it. I said, send the referral. Thank you. So the information that I find out, my nephew has lost his innocence, right? We had an issue with him smoking marijuana, right? He's no longer a virgin now, too. And I'm looking at my nephew. He was like, you don't even want to know who it is. I said, do I know her? He was like, no, you don't know her. But, when I asked to go over my friend's house, yeah, it's my friend's sister, or, whatever the hell. I said, so let me get this straight. So when I found out that you were smoking weed, you said, it was with your friends, and now it's a girl over there that you're, like, sexually active with. Okay, so I'm making my little remarks about that. So I'm like, okay, so you out here smoking marijuana, you out here being sexually active. Basically, I'm like, nigga, is you cool? He was just like, you gotta face it, auntie, I'm an adult now. And I'm like, you're not an adult. He said, well, I'm almost an adult and I make adult choices. And I'm like, nephew, please. I still have to remind you that taking a shower and brushing your teeth every day is basic bullshit. I said, adults is out here moving and grooving. Nigga, you don't do a damn thing. You don't do a damn thing. I said, only thing I've ever asked my nephew to do, like I'm telling y'all and I'm telling him, is for you to make good grades and don't be out here embarrassing me. I said, anytime we step outside, anytime we within this house, you proud to call me your auntie? Because you know for damn sure I'm not going to embarrass you. The only thing I ever asked you to do is to make good grades and don't embarrass me. I said, you don't even set a basic alarm to get up on time. You don't. Adult? Honey, you're not even close. And I said, and so I'm not tearing into him, but I'm talking to him stern, as I always do. You know what I'm saying? Because I gotta make you understand. I'm your auntie. I'm not your mama. And I'm going to talk to you so damn direct. I said, because at this point, I'm not raising you no more. I've been there since you was a baby. I'm not raising you. I'm teaching you, and I'm preparing you. This world, yeah, it's not easy to live in. It's not fun. I said, you see me every single day. I'm out here moving and grooving. I hustle harder than any nigga that you know. It ain't never been no man in my nephew's life, and that's including all his uncles, which is my brothers, his daddy, and any other man who he has ever seen move and groove harder than me. I said, so when it comes, and I primarily raised my nephew. So the way he act, I don't know where you learned that at. You know, I know his mama and his daddy, you know, which affected him so bad, Lord Jesus. But the environment that I create should inspire you to want to do better and be better. You know what I'm saying? And I'm real soft and I'm real tender on my nephew. If y'all know me in real life, if y'all ever seen me with my nephew, I ain't never raised my voice at him. I ain't never hit him. I ain't got to. This is my house. So before I step out of character, everybody will be gone. Okay? So we just had a real good talk. And I said, you know, his mama live in Raytown and I live in Raytown, which means we live close now. He'll be at my house a lot, I'm sure. So I'm just like, a lot of things for the school year is going to change. It's going to change. And like I said, I'm no longer raising you. I'm teaching you and I'm preparing you for a world that's not good. You understand me? Okay, part 2.
I don't know what his parents have to say about all this. His parents are some damn idiots, okay? Did you catch the part of the story where I said I'm the one who took him to the doctor? Yeah, his parents didn't even do that. I don't even listen to what his parents say in general. You understand me? I know it's hard, you know, raising a teenage boy and, you know, he don't have no father figures in his life. You know what I'm saying? Although I'm a female, I will never be a man. I never compare myself to a man. But when I say I out here, I move and groove like a nigga. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't nothing that my nephew can get from a man that he don't get from me, aside from me literally not being a man. Like, I showed my nephew how to do this on my mama. Like, I show my nephew, I get up. My sister don't work. Hell, his daddy don't work. So it be certain things y'all think that these young boys should learn from a man that these men ain't even out here doing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I was to give my nephew to his father, a man, right? He'll be worse off. He already lives with me, which means the mama didn't want him and the daddy didn't want him. The daddy, a man, right? Like I said, I can't replace a man, you know what I'm saying? But I showed my nephew how to be a gentleman. I showed my nephew how to treat women, how to talk to himself, how to conduct himself. Like, the little grown-up things he think he doing make him grown, that don't have anything to do with his character and the person that he displays every day. And he's a good kid with poor direction. He see me get up and go to work every day. When I'm not at work at the hospital, boom, I'm running the whole bakery. I opened a business in honor of his great grandma that passed. He see me doing orders, taking business, meeting with people. We out here volunteering. We in the streets. You think his daddy is out here volunteering, helping somebody out? Hell no. Hell no. His daddy ain't even got a job. You feel me? Like, but I do know the male presence matter. You know, my daddy wasn't in my life and I wish he would have been. So sometimes just the male presence matter. But his daddy ain't dead. He alive somewhere moving and grooving. And one thing he ain't is in his son's life. Ain't nobody keeping you from your son. Come get him. Please. Show him something. Please. These men don't want to be around. They don't want to be fathers. They don't. Yeah. So whatever his parents got to say, honey, I wouldn't listen to him no way. They ain't talking about shit. He here with me. You want me to listen to something you got to say about your son? Then come get him. See, this right here is the kind of stuff that frightens me. You know what I'm saying? Because, I mean, we should all pray for each other every day. But I know what you're referring to. You know what I'm saying? Pray danger away from him. Pray troublesome times away from him. Pray this, that. How can I pray for better if he literally invites it? You know what I'm saying? These kids ain't no fool. I've been an auntie since the age of 10 years old. I've raised nieces and nephews from baby to adulthood. You know what I'm saying? These kids aren't dumb. So it's like, I can pray for him, and it's dangerous out here. But if you're inviting the danger right to you, then my prayer is like beating a dead horse. You understand me? So it's like, I'm trying to talk to him. You know what I'm saying? And I know my nephew respects me, because everything I tell him to do, I literally live the life. It ain't nothing I tell my nephew it ain't nothing I could tell him to do that he don't look directly at me and I ain't doing it already. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, I need for him to know that this is dangerous. I need for him to know that people around us is dying. And my nephew is of the younger generation to where niggas around him is dying every day, B. He knows. He knows. So it's like, what am I supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? I got multiple cars. He don't want to learn how to drive. I own my house. He don't want to work. He don't want to. Then what am I supposed to do if the entire environment that I've created only encourage good and he still lean towards the bad? You know what I'm saying? And like I said in previous videos, and like I said to him in his face, stop going so hard for people who won't even come visit you in jail. Nigga, because I'm one of them. You going to jail, you best believe you never going to hear from Auntie Tasha again. On my mama, you won't. On my mama, you won't. Because me personally created an environment to make sure this never happened to you, and you disregarded everything I did and said, and it still happened to you. And you think I'm going to come visit you in jail and help you through troublesome times when I did everything to make sure you didn't have troublesome times? No. So I can pray all that away from him as he walks towards it. I'm not doing it. The things I provide my nephew is things that I never even had access to growing up. Not a damn thing. So the fact that he maneuvered the way that he do, I'm gonna let you be grown and see where that gets you. You ain't gonna be grown in my house. That's what you're not gonna do. But I'm gonna see where it gets you. Most importantly, you gonna see where it gets you. Yeah.
Okay, so this is part 2. If you didn't see part 1, go check it out. So anyway, I'm looking at his arms. I'm seeing scratches, and I'm asking my nephew, about that. I know what scratches on the arms mean. My very first job when I was 18 was in behavioral health. Like, I've seen it. So he was adamant on, and the therapist that came in the room, the licensed therapist, asked the same questions. But he was adamant on when he was at his friend's house, they were playing with cats, they got scratches. The cuts on his arm is precise, y'all, right? But I can tell you they weren't fresh, right? They weren't fresh. They're all healed, scabbed over. So whatever it was a long time ago, but you could still see the scar. But nothing about it was fresh or scabbed or, anything. It looks like regular skin. And the only thing I've ever wanted to do in this life was to be a Disney star. I failed at that. Be a poet. I still write poetry. And be a good example to my nieces and nephews. And I just want to make sure, I create an environment to where, he feels like he can have somebody to talk to, which when the therapist was in the office, he said he don't feel like he had nobody to talk to, which was unbeknownst to me, because what? And I asked him about that too, and he was just like, it's not me personally. He just don't feel comfortable just speaking in general. Anywho, I asked him to send results for, STDs. Let's go ahead and clear that up. He failed the vision test. We got to go ahead and, get glasses if that's what he need. I'm handling business. One thing I am is a primary example of if you want it, you can get it. Early mornings, late nights, let's go. Like I said, nephew, you don't have to be a loser. You literally don't. You see me move and groove every day. It would be different if I'm like talking at you. It ain't nothing I tell my nephew to do that I'm not doing 10 times. And I'm telling him, like, you don't contribute to my household, not none. The only thing I ever ask you to do is get good grades and don't embarrass me. I'm telling him I've been 16, 17, I've been all these ages. He haven't. I've graduated high school. He hasn't. I done lived, with financial freedom and financial downfalls and opened a business, and he hasn't. So a lot of things I'm telling you is to avoid the bumps in the road so you won't have to, because there was nobody in my life to tell me, and we got the same family, so I know for damn sure there ain't nobody in his life to tell him besides me. So, I handle my nephew like how I'm supposed to, and like I said, I'm real cute, real gentle when I'm talking direct. I need you to know that I'm not going to put you in the same mindset that your mama did, but I also want you to know that I'm not playing a damn game, and I never have. Like I said, I'm teaching him and I'm preparing him at this point. This fool gonna tell me that he an adult, he make adult choices. This world gonna have their way with him, and that's why I'm trying. But I'm not going to be beating a dead horse because I'm living the life that I want to live. And I'm simply trying to take him along with me. But I'm not going to be like fighting a fight that's not worth fighting. Last but not least, them friends, yeah. He never gonna see them again while living in my house. So if he, goes out there to see them, it won't be, I'm not giving you a ride. No, find you some new friends, some responsible friends. Find you some friends whose goal in life is growth and prosperity and leaving poverty behind. Yeah, find you them kind of friends that I'm gonna have you around. I have my nephew out here cleaning and volunteering and rubbing elbows with people that will make your life a difference. These
She wore the fake belly into the baby shower, sat down in front of the gifts, and smiled for the picture. That is where the story should have ended. Pick up the gifts, go home, move on. Instead, she faked a fall in front of the baby daddy and the baby daddy's mother, and the real stomach was not where a real stomach should have been. The prosthetic popped. The whole thing ended in a moment the fall itself created. She had been to doctor visits. She had faked ultrasounds. She had 2 separate baby showers, one from her side of the family and one from his. The amount of planning, maintenance, and coordination required to sustain a fake pregnancy across all of those milestones is something to stop and actually think about. The changing bump sizes, the dropped off at the doctor logistics, the timeline management, the changing prosthetic between sizes as the supposed months progressed. All of that for gifts from people who were celebrating something that was not happening. The detail that lands hardest is the pictures. She sat in front of the pile of gifts and smiled for the photos, knowing that level of composure in the middle of an active deception of that scale is its own specific kind of unhinged. She had not broken yet. She was still smiling. What the fall took from her was not the secret, it was the composure. And the composure was what had been holding everything else together. There is also a cost that does not get talked about in the original story, the part that takes a moment to land when you sit with it. The baby daddy's mother was at that shower. Her own mother was at that shower on her side. These are people who made plans, bought gifts, celebrated, arranged their emotional expectations around a child who was never coming. The baby shower is not just a party. It is a community saying, we are here, we are ready, we are behind you. She accepted all of that knowing it was false. When the belly hit the floor, every single person in that room had to reorganize something inside themselves in real time. That is the part the fake ultrasound created. Not just a lie between 2 people, but a whole collective experience built on nothing. What do you do with that? You study it. Because the discipline required to maintain a fake pregnancy across family lines, multiple events, and enough prenatal visits to be credible is evidence of exceptional organizational capacity that got redirected entirely toward chaos. Anna's situation is a different category, but lands in the same neighborhood. The speaker showed up with a care basket, items from Walgreens, a stop at the snack place, everything assembled because her friend had just gone through a rough breakup and needed support. Anna opened the door without any clothes on. This is already a story. Then they talked for a while about the breakup, about how the boyfriend had cheated and then flipped it back on her to justify it, about how she was done with men. And then Anna asked a question. To be fair to Anna, she disclosed she had been thinking about it for a while. She did not force anything. She made an offer. And when the speaker declined, Anna said, "Okay, it is what it is," and went to her room. That is the version of this that could have been the whole story. Except then Anna came back out to ask if she was really leaving. Then she started calling after the speaker got home. Then she reached out through mutual friends the speaker had never introduced her to. Then she showed up at school the next day asking where the speaker was, out loud, in the hallway, loud enough to get pulled into the office for being disruptive. The ask was one thing. The spiral that followed the no is what transformed it into a story. The specific fear Anna expressed in those texts is the part that reveals what was actually happening. She was not upset that her feelings were hurt. She was frightened of being exposed. The repeated calls and texts were not longing. They were damage control. And damage control done badly through strangers and hallway confrontations is the kind of approach that turns a private rejection into a public incident before lunch. The speaker makes a point of saying she was not judging. She was not. She said so directly and gave Anna a clear reason for declining that had nothing to do with Anna's character. What Anna could not process was that a no is a no, even when the person giving it is not disgusted, is not judging, is not running to tell anyone. The speaker was leaving because she wanted to leave. Anna kept calling because she could not believe that was the whole explanation. The threatening texts are the specific thing that shift the frame on everything that came before. Up until those texts arrived, you could read Anna's situation with some sympathy. She was fresh out of a painful breakup. She was in a vulnerable state. She had feelings she had been carrying, and she chose the wrong moment and the wrong person to bring them to. That is a recognizable human thing. People do things in loneliness and pain that they would not otherwise do. The moment the threatening messages came, that framing gets complicated. The concern was no longer about the friendship or about her own feelings. The concern was about who would find out what. You cannot ask someone for something, hear no, and then threaten them into silence, and have that still be a story about your vulnerability. At that point, it is a different story. What you are trying to manage is not feelings. It is a narrative. The maid of honor story is the only one in these four where the person at the center of the chaos never explains herself. 35 years later, and nobody knows what triggered it. The working theory is that something happened at the bar the first night, probably something involving the husband, probably something involving attention that landed wrong. That is just a guess. Nobody confirmed it. What is confirmed is that Patty went completely silent the morning after, maintained that silence through Disney, through beach days, through lunch logistics arranged through a third party, through a car ride in which she sat in the back seat without speaking, while her friend drove circles around a roundabout for 15 minutes to test whether anyone would crack. Nobody cracked. A person who can maintain silence through 15 laps of a roundabout, driven by someone who is visibly making a point, is a person with extraordinary commitment to whatever she is doing. The argument for Patty is simple. Something happened that hurt her enough to make her shut down on a vacation with people she was close to. That is a recognizable human response to something painful. The argument against the way she handled it is equally simple. She never said one word. Not to her best friend at the time, not after being driven to the airport, not in the years after. The husband apologized to the speaker's dad, not on Patty's behalf, but in a general we are grown men way. They got divorced about a year later. The assumption is that whatever she thought she saw was connected to whatever was already happening in her marriage, but nobody knows because she never said. The roundabout is the best part of the whole story because of what it was offering. The speaker's mother drove 15 circles not to punish anyone, but to give Patty the one opening she needed. All Patty had to do was say, "What are you doing?" One sentence. That is where the whole silence could have cracked open into something real. She stayed quiet for 15 rotations, so they went to the airport. You cannot drive in circles forever waiting for someone to take the opening you are giving them. At some point, you exit the roundabout and keep going. The actor's story is the one where the lie is the most specifically targeted. She dated him because her friends convinced her he was worth it. He was the most popular sophomore at a theater arts school, which narrows the selection pool considerably. She went along with it, he pursued. They went to the movies, and he kissed her face in a way she describes as significantly more wet than expected, covering surface area she had not signed up for. She got a hickey large enough to require a pencil eraser, a frozen spoon, a Sephora run, and an amount of cover makeup that the workers behind the counter probably clocked immediately. She practiced damage control at school. She eventually ended the relationship, or he did. She is not entirely sure, but she was fine with it being over. He was not fine. He told his friends she had performed a sex act on him in the staircase of the school. Not just the people immediately around him, broadly enough that it got back to her through the friend she was quietly seeing on the side, who had believed the story with enough confidence to mention it out loud. She never saw that man's anatomy in her life. The closest they got was the Cinema Next situation, and she spent 3 days with cold spoons and concealer, managing the evidence of that. The lie is a specific shape of ego protection. He needed a reason for her not wanting to be with him. That was not about her not wanting to be with him. Inventing a story where she was eager enough to do something in a school staircase converts his rejection into a different story, one where he was the one who moved on and she was the one who had been too available. There is also the specific choice of the staircase as the location in the story. It is not just a sex act. It is a sex act in a high traffic school space, which adds a layer to the story about her character that goes beyond the act itself. She was not just someone who slept with him. She was supposedly someone who did it where anyone could walk by, which carries an implication about how she valued herself and how little she required in order to do something. That layer is not accidental. He knew what he was adding when he picked that detail. A version of this story set anywhere private would be easier to wave off. The staircase version has a quality that sticks in the telling, and that is the version you land on when accuracy is not the point, and you are trying to make someone look a specific way. The problem is that none of that was true, and she knew exactly none of it was true. What makes the whole situation layered is that the friend she was sleeping with at the time was his friend. He was watching Maury in his house, and she liked that about him. He was the one who eventually told her what the actor had been saying, seemingly because he thought she deserved to know. She could not confront actor because the sneaky situation with the friend was also a thing she did not want made public. So she absorbed the information, sat with what she knew, and now it is a video that presumably a lot of people from that school are watching. What all four of these share is the specific energy of someone who could not let the situation land the way it actually landed and did something about it that made the situation considerably worse. The pregnant woman could have canceled the showers. The friend who got rejected could have let the no be a no and kept it between them. The maid of honor could have said one sentence on day 2 of the Florida trip. The actor could have let the breakup be a breakup. None of them did. And so the fall revealed the fake stomach. Anna ended up in the office being talked to about disrupting the hallway. Patty ended up at a 1989 airport with no flight booked and no way to call anyone from where she was standing. The actor ended up with a friend who went home and explained the whole staircase lie over an afternoon that apparently also involved a television program about disputed paternity. Some situations end quietly. Most people going into them assume they will be the quiet kind. The fake belly, the care basket, the condo in Florida, the movie theater, all of those started as ordinary things. What made them into stories was the moment someone decided they could not accept how it was going and did something about it. And the thing they did made everything so much larger than it needed to be. Some situations end in a roundabout. Usually, you do not know which kind you are in until you are already on the 3rd lap.